Hello. I need to get something that's better at this. I am I am actually going live on time. I actually would have been earlier. I don't know. I would have been online earlier as soon as Lauren got off hers, but didn't know she was going on. Didn't know she was going to have this like in between. But anyways, I'm on time. It's 9:15 and I'm actually on my own time. Welcome anyone. I know we have one new person. I think you were here Friday too, right? Lar Trainer. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name or how you want to say your name, but welcome. And welcome anyone else. My live is it's a work in progress. I feel so weird talking right now. I feel so strange. But it is absolutely a work in progress. I have very random things to get to today. Blake wise, I'll try to do that pretty soon or towards the end, one or the other. I do have, for anyone who's here from Lauren's channel, I do have her live open or her stream open on the side. So as soon as she's going live, I'll let you know. But you can do the same as well. Um, and I have some news, some random news that I want to like talk about. And I don't know. I'm out of breath again. I thought it was this is so strange. This is so strange. It's like a reminder. Oh, be yourself, Arena. Just do your regular thing. But then also, I don't know. Mondays are really hard. Somehow, it's like a complete reset has happened to my mind, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing here? Am I supposed to be here? So yeah. Anyways, for everyone that's new or on replay that's new, unlike Friday, this will be a little bit more, a lot of different things. Um, and yeah, yeah, I don't know. I like to talk about movies and shows that I'm watching briefly, at least, if anything stands out, at least. And I will say that Etoile, haven't been on Prime Video in a while. Etoile, I'm not pronouncing that right at all, but it's half in French, half in English. It is from the creators of the Marvelous Miss Maisel. I think that's the right name. I always get that confused. And then it has whatever his name is, who played the one comedian in that show. I think something Kirby. He's kind of like the main star. Etoile, Etolie. I don't remember. I can pull it up. Okay. Um, I'm talking to myself because like I've done this before, and I'm acting like I haven't. This is the series, and like I said, it's kind of half in French, half in English. It's about the ballet, and it's about like the Lincoln Center, whatever they call it, that ballet, the New York Metropolitan something. I forgot already. I don't think I've ever been to the ballet. And then Paris, and they start off with exchanging some of their stars because that's supposed to help save the ballet and audiences. I'm not sure how that makes sense, but maybe it makes sense to people who know ballet. Either way, it's kind of interesting. And the main ballet that they bring over from France is kind of a rebel activist. I thought it was a joke at first because the way that it's filmed, it's kind of like a play and they talk very, very, very fast, just like in Miss Maisel. So you definitely feel the similarity there. But I kind of feel weird that they went with a same act. Like I wish that he would be in a show that's not related to those creators. Part of me feels that way, but I can be somewhat of like I don't know, entertainment industry, like Simon Cowell? I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, it's interesting. French, they speak very fast. So be warned of that. So far I like it though. I'm surprised that I like it. And I also don't really love that I like it because it's on Prime and I'm trying not to use Amazon that much, but I kind of ran through all the shows. If you have any shows recommendations, let me know. I've also been watching Will Trent and it's gotten too weird. I loved the first two seasons. This third season, it's gotten a little too artsy fartsy. I used to call these things like very avant-garde is probably what most people might call this style of like trying new things. And I've wanted shows in the US to do that since I got into like K-dramas who they and UK TV who would like try different styles and everything, but yeah. And Going Dutch. That's a light and fun okay show. I don't even remember what that's on. But yeah, it's just kind of like you're watching while you're eating. That's what I do, at least. This one. It's like nothing really special, I guess, to me at least. So those are like the movies of the moment. I can't even say the week, probably the day in some cases, or shows. I haven't watched a movie in a while. If you haven't seen A Nice Indian Boy. I don't know when it'll come to streaming, and I'm hoping it will, but I think maybe because of this whole drama, it might not, or it might have delays or something. But it's not in theaters anymore. It was in select theaters. It was from Wayfair Studios. They were part of, the production studio that made this. It is actually a surprising movie, and it's also kind of weird made. It's like it's an interesting style. It's a very different style than I've seen, but it's really I went through all the emotions. It's actually a good movie, and it's getting like a really nice reviews. I don't understand from both like critics and regular people. I don't know why it's not being I don't know, released in some sort of way. So, yeah. Anyways, um products. That's a weird one. I don't usually have like a little products thing and stuff, but yeah, that I will say that I had just a warning. I will retract my oh, you have to try Acton Acre. I don't even have a anything uh whatever you call it. What do you call it? I don't have um affiliate link or anything. I was like reaching out to them. I was, you know, not even in talks with them. I was just reaching out and I'm glad that I don't know. I don't know if other products are okay, but their shampoo, I believe their shampoo made like an actual clump this size of hair come out of my head the other day. So, might also be just my hair, but I don't think so cuz I've been pretty okay with like some crappy products so far. So, I and I've heard I guess since then I've heard from other creators that too. So, I would not recommend that and I retract my recommendation of that. I should probably say that somehow edit that into my previous videos. Um, and then that's it, because that's all that's new. Still trying Viome. Some days I'm taking the supplement, some days I'm not. Still very bloated. TMI, I guess, for anyone who's not familiar with me. I do go there, but I still believe that it's very good, and so I take my probiotic and prebiotic packet every day. And then ground news, which is going to be a lot of this live, actually. I will be talking a bit about ground news from it. I found myself actually going there to check on things that I see on YouTube, like headlines or whatever's. So, yeah, I do have an affiliate link to Ground News if you haven't gotten it from other people, other influencers. I know Shirsti also has one. So it's in my description, it's in her description, in each video. So yeah, since it's a little like a little lower on audience, I will leave the Blake Lively later tonight, maybe in like probably this is not going to probably be that long. So um yeah, but I'll start with this. And Katy Perry as well. But first of all, this. What is this? What is this? Why are we suddenly? I'm not able to like scale this up. Why are we suddenly? I think because of the whole Blake thing. Um, I am a lot more than usual, kind of over marketing, and I would consider this marketing. Whether it's like, I don't think marketing is just a brand, making commercials or, whatever it is. I think it's like anytime you present something about yourself or your life or something or someone that is supposed to enact some sort of emotion in someone else. That is not it's not really the definition of marketing, but I think of it that way as far as like, you know, personal brands and things. So this, I don't know too much. I was just watching just earlier really quickly. I don't know too much about what's going on, but something like he's not happy. This is Bill Belichick, I think is his name, the coach for New England Patriots, was the coach for the New England Patriots. I did have a friend who played under his coaching. Oh gosh, I can't believe time has flown so fast, like a long time ago. But I don't know any insight. I will reach out to him and see if he has any insight. Um, I don't know. I don't know too much, but I just don't appreciate this. Why are you wearing this, like, kind of distraught kind of, I mean, to be honest, homeless? Like, he can't afford clothes. And the thing is, like, even if he is broke, I don't know. He has like a really young girlfriend, so I don't really know what the deal is with this look and this sympathy vote that I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So that's all I have to say about this. I just wanted to share that. I don't know why. Moving on. Oh gosh, I want to go to Katy Perry, and I think it's this one. Nope, that's Lauren. Oh, I know. I want to talk about Katy Perry before anything else because I feel like this is really concerning. To me, it's concerning. I feel like she's having like a breakdown without having a breakdown, like between the way that she was talking before, during, and after the whole launch into space or semi space, into the like up to the barrier, whatever barrier, I forget, darn it, and back. And then this, and there's some really disturbing. I was watching It's Keisha. If you don't know her, check her out. Some really disturbing like footage from her show. It's like I'm kind of concerned. Like I'm not. It might sound like I'm, you know, criticizing her or making fun of her or whatever. I'm genuinely like, I know when she was talking about the love, she's more connected to love, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is she on, or is she okay? I don't know how to describe, but I it just makes me feel very uncomfortable. And this is part of the choreography, I believe. I'm trying to pull up It's Keisha's video so I can link that one later. um in my description below, I have all the links. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. The other part of it is, I don't know why it didn't register, maybe because I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. But when I was making the thumbnail today, I finally got it. She's talking. She called it her Lifetimes tour or something, right? Uh, like the Eras tour, Taylor Swift. She's flying around like Pink in the air throughout her show. She's all over the place and she's copying everyone. Yeah, she's like doing this like game sort. I don't even know. This is oh gosh, more. I'm very very sick of commercials. Yeah. Anyways, but I want to show you this part because it's just like I
Katy
don't
Perry
what.
basically embarrassing herself. I bet nobody.
And the reason I say is she's short circuiting because I don't remember when it was because I didn't catch it live, but just recently I saw that she, in one of her shows, like a long time ago, I think, she had this like glitch sort of like look where she just closed one eyelid. I can't do it. I kind of can't do it. I no. Like she was just like very like calm and she just closed like one eyelid. So it looked like she was having a seizure, which is not fun. I don't know. I don't find that fun, to be in the audience of that.
Haven't read over
Oh,
this yet.
Lawrence Live, everyone that wants to go over. Um so yeah, I don't know. I'll watch on the replay, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know if I feel like that's her style. That's who she wants to be. She's like a quirky kid that, she kind of came out into the music industry, like flourished by being sexy or whatever, but she's really just quirky. And I feel like, okay, if that's your personality, if that's who you want to be, and that's like you want to rebrand to that, cool. But I don't think she hired the right people to rebrand her, or something about it is coming off unprepared or unpolished. Like it just is coming off strange and uncomfortable and not very. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Um, I also said, like, I don't know, like I think there's like a timing to it. I don't know that she got the timing right. I think she was forcing the timing. She's talking about female empowerment and yet she has these shows. It really feels all over the place. And the whole Lifetimes tour kind of copy of Taylor Swift's Eras tour. I feel like either she has an echo chamber that is telling her that she's bigger than she is and that she doesn't need to be hyped in any way and to come out with something that's actually good. I don't think that her last studio album, who am I talking studio albums? Her last album, her last record, whatever, was good. She had better music during the pandemic, I feel like. And she was releasing these one-off songs and they were like pretty good. Pretty good. And I don't know. I remember trying to listen to her last single or first single or whatever this past year, and it was just not that good. And then she worked with who is he, Doctor Luke or whatever, um, and that's not great. So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's like a number of things. I'm curious. I didn't watch Keisha's all of Keisha's movie video. Actually, watch not that much more than this. So I got excited and I forgot to watch the rest of it. I cannot wait. But um I'm curious, like it just feels like there's a number of factors, but it just makes me feel worried. And I'm not saying like I'm worried cuz I can do something and I'm her friend or whatever, but it just when you see this and you see someone kind of after we had Britney Spears, when you see someone looking like they're not all right, you do worry. I don't want people to not be all right. I feel like I probably would be worried about Blake Lively if she wasn't so confidently lying and just making, not even lying and making up stuff. She's like just deceiving, just very sure of herself and very, or at least she's like coming across like she has no problems, like she's okay, she's fine. It just more, it's a very different energy. Katy Perry is just talking about all like love and whatever, and I don't even know. And doing this weird choreography and it's just being, I guess, quirky. This gets me like, it just reminds me of that moment with the blink. This is not even choreography. I feel like she's not even like trying, and I hate saying that because it's, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Oh, and I think there is, yeah, she's playing around. Um, I feel like that's a bad twerking. It's not even good. Oh my gosh, Zumba yesterday we had to twerk, and I was like, I'm not twerking in front of everyone here. I don't care that there's women only pretty much and stuff. Like I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. So yeah, she's like pink. It and Keisha mentioned this too in the very small part that I watched. But once the Lifetime tour clicked in, I'm like, yeah, she is copying everyone, trying to, like Ryan Reynolds said, copy many, and that makes you what, a genius, not uh, was it a criminal? I don't know. I forget how he said it. Something like that. And it's like, well, yeah, but not this blatantly. Copy people throughout your life. Like if someone, fixes their stomach and they tell you how they did it and you try it and it works for you, that's great. And you become a better person. Or how they train for something, workout, etc. Or even personality wise. Because I don't believe that we can like create personalities unless you are that person whom does, I think, like borderline personality disorder or something. They do kind of tend to latch on to other people's personality. I forget. Oh my gosh, what is it? I don't know, but it's coming from like a, they weren't given that space or whatever safety to develop a personality. Basically, that sounds weird because I feel like we all have our own personality. At the end of the day, nothing will change the core of us. But if you want to not be late all the time and you're that person who's always late, or the other way, you want to be late and you're always on time and you are like, end up being lonely over there and you don't want to be that much on time, then yeah, like, sure, copy people in that sense. But to literally cut and paste sort of different elements from different people's concerts, including, I think the title of the concert of the tour is just setting herself up for failure because it looks worse if this is supposed to be her own version of her era's tour. But she hasn't had, I mean, well, she has had quite a few eras, very distinct, but not that many. But either way, like, it's not the same. It's not the same. And Taylor Swift was a lot more in the music with the releasing like a bunch of albums leading up to that. So it's just, it's not looking great. Um oh yeah, and then I also say, like, you're if you want to be quirky, but also like you're building a brand as a pop star, and you're not most people on this planet are not quirky. They're not going to feel comfortable with you glitching and looking just odd, and like people need to worry like, did you fall, are you okay, or whatever. So um or like, are you are you in okay shape, because you're barely running around the stage after these like things are following you singing et. And yeah, I think most of the earth's population and most of her fans probably liked her for her pop star version. And again, Taylor Swift, she changed a bunch of times. It was still her at the core. And also, she changed, like, it made sense, not just like suddenly and almost like, um, so far. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I guess she was always kind of like this. I don't know. It just feels unprepared to me. Um, yeah. And I also said, who am I to say that? Because we all know that I'm not the most prepared person. So that was like, it was pretty quick. I don't have too much right now. I need to watch this show or this video, and I need to watch some more. I'm definitely curious though now, but not in a like a good way. I just feel bad. I just feel bad. All right. So got the kind of general entertainment thing out of the way. Um, General news because yeah, well, I'll say because we're talking about Taylor Swift, I'll talk about the Travis Kelce of it all because I have um, I guess questions. I don't know. He doesn't follow Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift doesn't follow anyone. So it could be like nothing, that part. He also, and I feel like because he unfollowed, I don't know that he followed. I did not see one single person that reported on this to show the evidence, the proof, but I didn't see probably everyone. But yeah, I didn't see that he was following him before, and I for sure didn't check on him. Um, let's see what I feel like Elsie would have shown the evidence, but maybe not. Hold on. This is going to be. It already started on a weird energy, not gonna lie. First of all, I'm gonna like take a moment to like recenter because I was very tired yesterday and Saturday, but yesterday especially, I pushed myself physically to my limit. I got into bed pretty sore, woke up, knees were hurting for some reason. Has anyone ever trained, like, did Zoom? But it wasn't from the Zumba. I was sore in the Zumba because I did like a functional strength training video thing, and on Saturday. And so I was sore doing Zumba, so that added on to probably injured, like, more muscle being ripped. And I guess we have a lot of muscle. So I guess like the muscles around my knees, and that's a thing, or it was I don't know, but something was like hurting. And then it got better throughout the day today, but I was like so exhausted. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? So that was like a layer of weird energy. I feel so behind on so much. I have hiccups now. I have yawn. Oh my god. Gosh. Anyways, um, yeah, I also almost got into like a fight with a university because they overcharged me, and I had a feeling, and I heard about this online a lot, um but I didn't know until I actually looked today. I was like, oh, wait a minute, they charged me a lot more. um but yeah, anyways, So that didn't. Then got on Lauren's live, and the this is so weird. You know, you look back on life and you're like, what was I thinking? This is me in marketing because I was in marketing for a few years, like the past 5, 6 years or so. And I am so like anti advertising and advertising myself. So even saying on Lauren's live when people were just waiting for her, like, in the meantime, um, that put me in not me kind of vibe. I don't like I don't like advertising myself. I don't like, even if I believe in it, the moment that I'm actually, you know, like I believe it in the moment, I share or whatever, and then when I'm recording, when I'm posting, whatever it is, when I'm talking to someone, for like my coaching, the same thing. Like in my coaching, I believe in this so much, and I love it so much, and like I know the evidence, everything, and yet if I need to get a client, I will turn into someone who is so apologetic and so like weirded out and so feeling bad, even though like I'm not here, selling snake oil or anything like that. It is, and I know it's like something I need to fix, but it's so frustrating. So I need to just like, revive, reground, let all that go. It's in the past, kind of, a few minutes ago. um, just do my thing. That is also very, very difficult for me lately to just do my thing. And this is a challenge, especially on lives. But also, that's why I started doing the vlogs again. And I'm like, these are like crappy. These are too long. No one wants to listen to all of this. No one cares. I probably won't even care if I listen to them back and this and that and everything. And I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. So, anyways, um, Travis Kelce. I don't know that he was following Ryan Reynolds before or Blake. He's surely not following them now. I think I saw on Jersey's video, yeah, over the weekend, that Blake didn't go to Gigi Hadid's birthday. And I'm sorry. I know that, they had a Wrexham game, blah, 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 that same weekend or same day. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing because, like, what would you do? That's a pretty tough spot to be in. You're either picking your husband or picking a friend, and also like publicity. So I don't know that means more than like she Blake picked her husband to show united front and whatever. um but it also definitely looks like it could be just her not being invited, or her choosing herself over anyone else, like getting going and supporting her husband and whatever, showing that united front and whatnot. So I don't know. Who knows what that was about, because they had so many pictures at that game. There, it was so um it's like when, obviously they didn't need to tip any paparazzi, but it's kind of feeling like when the paparazzi are tipped, and they knew that they were photographed and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, back to Travis Kelce. Sorry, I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I don't like how he responded to I forget who, the one comedian that had hosted, I think, the Golden Globes or something 2 3 years ago. I didn't like that. It's been too a while. It's been a while. So I guess maybe things, they've matured, him and Taylor. I don't know. I don't think that either of them were that mature. I don't think she's very mature in how she responds and how she deals with people who have wronged her or anything like that. I think she does take it very personally, but like one of her songs says, like, basically a couple of their songs, like, you made me crazy, what did you expect, you made me this way, like the industry and the media and everything. So, yeah, at the same time, I also admit that it is probably impossible for any of us, probably. Now, maybe one of us will be one day kind of like her, but it is impossible for anyone to imagine that level of fame, that level of pressure, that level of marketing, that level of like making sure you're not ruining your brand. And I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So who knows? But is it kind of like her telling him, hey, on these are we can't be friends with them. Again, she doesn't follow anyone, I think, for a great reason. Exactly this reason. So she's not looked with a microscope. Oh, who's she following, etc., etc. Maybe on her like burner account or something, if she has one, which she probably does, but I don't know what that is. I don't know if anyone can ever know. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. Sorry, I don't know so much. I want to know more, kind of, but at the same time, I don't care. The other part, one my instinct when I heard was, if this is true that he unfollowed and it was because of this, it was, I would hope, a lot more from his own, you know, volition or whatever, from his own. I can't find my words today. I forget. I forget. Yeah, forget. I can't find the word. But, like seeing your girlfriend, your partner, your loved one going through really scary legal stuff. I don't think she can be responsible for anything legally that will affect her legally, but she has to deal with going to court or being subpoenaed and all these things. And so that's not fun. I also just had a moment, like, imagine, oh my gosh, it is both like so difficult and so cool at the same time to be in her position. Like, she has like lawyers and she has no worries in paying them. Like, it's just like crazy to think about that. She's not the only person. I remember at the presidential inauguration or whatever, when all those people, billionaires, multi-billionaires, whatever, were around, and I was like, I can't imagine having that much money. I literally cannot imagine it. I cannot imagine not having to worry about anything as far as money is concerned. Medical issues, legal issues, whatever issues, at least like the part of having lawyers and having doctors and whatever. Like, if something happens medically and no doctor can save you, no doctor can save you no matter your money, but like, you have so much power in being so much safer by having so much more money. So crazy. But either way, it's still stressful. And especially with her brand, that's probably so incredibly stressful, because any wrong move that she does can affect her brand massively. Massively. I mean, look at Blake Lively. If she is getting into that to the extent that people will not like her, which she's been there before, and the way that people want to like cancel basically cancel Blake so much, and she gets like, it's just like a different vibe. I think people already kind of canceled Blake. It's more that like she's not going away. She's just not going away, and she's like trying harder to. Elsie came out saying over the weekend that, how I was questioning on Friday's live, I was questioning it's a little odd. She's not saying whether Blake, sorry, I'm all over the place, whether her mom's aggressor was male or female, her coworker, which made me think that it was probably a female. And Elsie, I didn't see the proof, again, the evidence, but Elsie came out saying that she found out that it was a female coworker. And I'm like, I'm not surprised. I think I wrote in that video, I wrote as a caption because she said, um, something as like Blake is Stupid, and I'm like, yeah, or maybe like Evil, because that is just crazy. The manipulation, I just don't understand. Again, I don't know if this makes me stupid, naive, immature, a good person. I don't know, but I just cannot wrap my mind around someone knowing they're deceiving and just doing that so bravely, so in your face, no remorse, seemingly. Actually, I take that back. She does seem nervous, so I don't know if she's like very comfortable doing this or that's an act. People say she can't act. I think she can act. I've not seen her be a bad actress. I've just seen someone who doesn't want to act and just wants to be herself, which I will say that being yourself is most of the acting. It is really hard to be yourself on camera. But like I don't know. I don't think she's like acting nervous, but I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. I really, and not just me, but we really have been challenged when it comes to believing her about anything. So back to the Taylor Swift of it all. Um yeah, like if Taylor Swift gets really roped into this and destroys her brand, which, yeah, she has strong following, she has strong Swifties on her side, etc., etc. But she knows, probably. It seems like Taylor is one of those rare people that even though she's so powerful and so huge and all, has all this money, has all this influence, has so much hi, thank you. Replay crew is cool too. Just I don't know. I feel so bad saying like remember and to leave like a dolphin in the comments, but yeah, if you want, no pressure on the replay. But yeah, go to bed. I totally support that. Sleep is important. Health is important. Health comes first. But thank you for stopping by. And I love the emojis too. I love all your emojis. What was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah. Taylor Swift, something. I was faking myself into remembering. Kind of worked. Thank you. Um, and also, you probably saw Lauren. She was live earlier, and she's live still, I think. Um, and oh yeah, Taylor Swift. So yeah, if she's really caught into that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry. She's probably one of those rare people that even though she knows she's very petty, she's not very mature when she's dealing with conflict. She calls people name, like she seems very like immature girl. Like she's stuck in like this very girly, not girly, but like that kind of like girl that she was when she came to into the music scene. The calling girls like, oh, you must be an SLUT, because that's the only reason you got my man or whatever. That she later changed that one song. I'm bad with Taylor Swift songs. I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been a moment since I've and also I didn't like that early Taylor Swift stuff, anyways. But um, so like she probably is that way, but at the same time, she's really good, or she has a very good team, and I think that's her mom and her dad. Like her family is really careful, really helpful with her marketing. Um, but I think maybe also grounding her and herself being grounded to an extent where she knows she's not infallible. She knows she is not indestructible. Who knows? I think to an extent she feels like, "Oh, I'm pretty good right now." But I think because she's been through all of these ups and downs, she also knows how fragile it is. Whereas Blake hasn't been through many ups or many downs. She's kind of just been neutrally just like coasting. So that combined with other things, you know, Taylor was born, I would say, pretty affluently. I don't know, to me, she was pretty well off compared to like my upbringing. And yet she wasn't, like super Hollywood in the middle of it all kind of upbringing and stuff. So I don't know, maybe that helps too. But either way, I think I do see why Taylor, whether she is or is not friends with Blake, whether she does or does not support her privately, publicly, I can understand why she does not want to be associated, to be dragged into this at all, really. um, and so, like, I would imagine that in being someone's partner, I would hope that I would have a mature enough guy and secure enough guy to notice that and, like, have my back. And I would hope that, I don't know, I feel like Taylor also deserves someone that she doesn't, like, direct around. She doesn't have to ask, hey, can you, like, unfollow this person for me? Can you do this? Like, that is so not what I would want. But he might just care and like see how they've treated her or how they're like going down, and and he's like, no, I don't want to be associated with this. And I will give Travis, I don't know him that much at all, but he does seem like someone who has had his own share of scandals and things, but like nothing this big. No one, I feel like not even Taylor Swift has had anything this big, truly. But he seems like someone who doesn't really want to get into anything messy. He does seem kind of like into the glitz and glamour of it all, but also kind of grounded at the same time. So I don't know. But still, I don't have any of the receipts. Oh my gosh, I think I broke this finger. As far as whether he recently unfollowed him, Ryan Reynolds, or like he never followed him, or whatever. So yeah, um, yeah. I said him being upset over the effects all this legal battle has or have over his girlfriend, his loved one. So yeah. Back to, well, let's just finish the Blake Lively of it all, because I don't have too much honestly about, well, I have the Oliver Stone and I do want to get to it because I've dragged this topic over and over and over, just constantly dragged it to the next live and the next live and the next live. And because it's early at 10 p.m., I I will take my time. Not a lot. Not a lot. Um okay. Close that one. Got that link. Close that one. Sorry, I'm like doing some cleanup to um get ready for this. All right. So, I don't know. I don't know what I should do. News or Blake? I feel like if I leave the news, general news to the end, it's going to be a bit depressing. But part of me just wants to keep going on the Blake stuff because, I'm already talking about it. Um, how about I do like a quick news update, like go just down the headlines or whatever, because I don't have too much in-depth detail anyways. So, um if you are interested in just Blake and you're on the replay, skip over. I will try my best to actually have chapters. I have again, I'm so behind. Oh my gosh. But yeah. All right. So, ground news. That's just like the, I don't know, top news of the day. Whatever. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, tonight will be a short one. I'm sorry about Friday. That ended up being a long one. Okay, so fun news. The oldest ant ever discovered found fossilized in Brazil. Um, ooh, hell ant. 113 million years old. Wow. It also, I do remember slightly that there's a way from science class, but it does really wow me each time when they're able to tell how old something is. It's carbon dating, right? With living beings, or not even non living beings. But yeah, wow. Do I have a picture of it? Let's see, Science Daily. No. Oh wow, I like this. This is like the actual. Oh, that's cool. The actual thing. Discover magazine. Oh, look at that. Huh. How big is that though? Is that like a huge one? I wish they would have like a reference size. Maybe I should have left this to the end. You know what? I'll continue with Blake and I'll come back to this because this is like really cool and I feel like this is a better way to end things tonight. So, let's that's also part of the news. Let's go over to, I'll do the Oliver Stone, but before getting to that, Judd Wallace. Oh man, between Dave and Lauren, I kind of pieced it. Oh my gosh. My accent is on tonight. Pieced it together that um I'm getting in my head again. I'm sorry, replay crew. I'm so sorry. This is going to be a rough one. I think I need to come back maybe on Wednesday or something to redeem myself because this is a rough one. Mondays, right? Hashtag Monday. Um, but yeah, so pieced it together that Blake, oh my gosh. On Lauren's live, and I'll link her that specific video below. She read that Blake took one of Jed Wallace's previous lawyers in order to sue him, and or that's what they allege, or that's what they say in Jed Wallace's filing, whatever filing that was recently, or last week, Friday or Saturday or Thursday. And I thought that was just cruel. And knowing that on top of that, she aired out his sealed medical issues. Like, what? He already went to the court and basically got an attorney's eyes only type of thing, if not that specifically. I don't know, I don't have the filing. I haven't gotten a chance, or not chance, but court listener stopped like being free for a lot of these, so I haven't seen it. But she, not only was that, I guess, I don't know, illegal, maybe kind of illegal, because he had the court seal his medical issues. Um, and her team was like, whatever, doesn't matter to us. We'll air it out. and he had issues because of this legal battle. Maybe they were thinking like, oh, well, we'll air it out so because he's lying. Because this is the thing, when people are liars, they project that other people are liars because they can't imagine someone else being unlike they are. Most people, if not all of us, when we think of someone else, unless we really, really know them, we will most likely assume they're very like us. They lie or don't lie like us. They're honest or not honest like us, etc., etc. So, it's a very fair assumption that Blake Lively and team thought, oh, he's probably lying about his medical issues. Just like she probably lied, I don't know, maybe. This is a theory about her having strep throat 3 or 4 times in 1 month, and another time later that same spring. Um, so maybe that's why she did that, but that's also cruel. She should work for this administration. They should like be in this. They probably voted for this administration, even though they were like on camera, like no, against it, whatever. Anyways, so then not only that, but she took his lawyer to sue him. That is like just so screwed up. And this guy, the other thing, let me like for a moment, let me share this thought. I could understand, even though I don't believe it's warranted, but I can understand if she would do this to Justin Baldoni, because that's the person that, if a smear campaign would exist, would have given the thumbs up to it, or like the push the button, the green button or whatever, launched it, like said, yeah, go ahead. Because it would be against him that she would do a smear campaign, and so it made sense, like it's between the two of them. But this Judd Wallace guy, even if there was a smear campaign, and even if it was to the effect that they are claiming, this guy is like not at fault for anything but being hired and doing his job. Like, why, out of all the people, would you treat this guy specifically almost the worst? Maybe because he was weak, the weak chain, the weak link in the chain. Because she took his lawyer, so he didn't have maybe a lawyer or the best lawyer that he could have. And he was kind of a lot more like factual and not like very dramatic, in his filings. I remember the filing was like, oh my gosh, I don't really know what this says, and it's very technical and boring, just like their filings should have been. But because they're public figures and they want to also do play this out in the public, it's not, and it's more interesting, and we get to talk about it. But with him, like, he didn't, again, the only thing, if anything, the only thing he did was do his job, which apparently he wasn't even hired. I was very confused about that part of it. And then on top of that, yeah, so Blake dismissed her lawsuit of Wallace because Baldoni's lawyer apparently told her so. That was again still in Lauren's video. Um, I mean, she was just reading the thing, the filing, but I'll share her reading of it. Um, uh, I said this more and more. I will say this: the more and more she talks, the more and more there are filings from her side. The more and more things come out from the past or the present or whatever with her, the more and more I do not want to see her on the screen or like hear her on a podcast or anywhere ever again, because it's very definitely triggering as far as like the manipulation and the deception. And as far as like the whole life and the whole, like, I'm just so tired of people just doing such bad things. I was saying to my friend today, like, the people that she's hurting most is the victims, and not the only way that a lot of us have talked about and have thought. Like, oh, because victims, real victims won't be believed. Yes, that's one part. But like, she's hurting real victims that believe her because they're still very much in trauma, and they will not hear that she, had so many holes in the story, that she alluded to things being kind of like, SHDV, etc. According, like, the story with her mom, but it wasn't anything like that. And they will not be able to see that. And it just re traumatizes them. It keeps them in trauma, and it hurts them a lot, the people that she's calling on to be by her side. And that is such a cruel, horrible thing to do. And so these things where she's like just making things up, or uh, flourishing the truth, deception is not necessarily lying, saying, this phone is purple, but also like saying, well, this phone is, a color that I like, or something. And I don't know. I'm trying too hard with that. And so that's like, just, it's not just triggering, but it's also just infuriating, from a morality standpoint, that it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. For her to say that she dismissed her lawsuit, which is funny because then Dave read the same lawsuit, and for some reason I heard him, maybe how he phrased it or maybe how he read it, I don't know. I heard in his that she admitted to the judge that she had no evidence, basically. So because she said, like, I do have the picture here, the screenshot, and I'll include his video as well. um that Lively represented to the judge under oath that she needed the discovery to understand and evaluate potential claims, so that any suit filed by Lively against Wallace is supported by competent witness testimony and evidence, ensuring that without this evidence, any lawsuit against Wallace would be groundless and in bad faith, or for harassment or improper purpose under Texas, civil code, blah blah blah. What the heck? Do we need anything more to know that she's just so full of air? Hot air, cold air, medium cool air? This, when I got to this part, I was like, why are we wasting all this money, resources, time? I mean, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate having this topic, and I do appreciate the conversations that come out of it for all of us. That's not just around them, but just around morality in general, and around people and trauma and this and that. So I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, honestly, I also think that, like, why are we even having this conversation? Not this particular one, but like the legal conversation. Why are we why? Because she doesn't have anything. That's kind of the same thing with Justin Baldoni. Like, the only thing that she has are those, it just like makes me also just so frustrated because, again, she doesn't even talk about, she's not after proving that she was essayed, whatever. She never was. She didn't even do that when it was filming. Um she only wanted to not be smeared. And part of me also kind of thinks that, what if, like, this all goes away, whatever, however, and then she gets another moment like this, and she realizes that it's not because of anyone else, but because of her. But I don't think she can. But anyway, so that's like the Judd Wallace. There's a lot, but I'll link Lawrence and Dave's. I think they read the same thing, so I don't know, but I'll link both of their videos below. I'm 99.9% sure that they read the same thing. I just sometimes, and I realized through that, sometimes it takes different people to hear different things differently, or the same thing differently. because of how they say things or their energy or the time of day you're listening to them. So whichever one works for you, I'll link it below. And they do have different takes on it and different presentations to it, so I think it's worth watching both. I do. But yeah, oh goodness, the other part. um Simple favor, another simple favor premiere, I guess. How many premieres? I don't understand. How many premieres are there? What premiere was this one? I don't know. But I forget. I think Popcorn Planet. I think Andy was talking about this. I think so. Um I do have this because I also want to talk about fashion too. This is also like a very just genuine question about fashion trends. Is the fashion trend to not be on purpose, to not be flattering to the human body and to look the most unflattering? Because that's what she seems to be going for. Either that or I don't know what happened. Anyways, and I'm not, again, sometimes I am kind of snarky and whatever. That is not in snarkiness. That is just like a serious question because I feel I have my feelings around, people celebrating imperfection, which is like all good and fun, but celebrating it and idolizing it, not quite the same thing. I personally like, I don't know, idolizing maybe the wrong word, but I personally like admiring, aspiring to, aspirational. Yeah. I personally like, wait, what? Hold on. Whoa. I saw, hi, Millennium Mom. I saw Court of Random Opinion and the Bacons. The Bacons are here. Um, Welcome. Hi. In the middle of talking about Blake. Hi, Angel. I made you guys like moderators now because there's so many. Welcome the Bacon Army. Um, Gosh, I don't know what I was like talking about. This is such. I feel so like stressed now because today is like I am not on my game today. But I appreciate you coming here, but I am so bad today. So think of that. Don't try when you're judging me today. Think of that. Hi P. Um I hope you have a good sleep. Um but yeah, I'm so awkward today. Oh, Bruce, hi Bruce. And Lauren, hi. Oh my gosh, I wish this would have happened Friday cuz I am so bad today. I am so bad today. All right. Also just mentioned you, Lauren, talking about the Judd Wallace situation, which is crazy. Um just crazy. I just feel bad. Like honestly, when it comes to the Judd Wallace thing, I feel more like there's more heartfelt bad feeling bad about someone because I just feel like he is such an anonymous person. He's just like a regular normal person. Hi Maria. That I don't know. I feel like he should not be into this. But who knows? Maybe we'll find out that he's like this evil person that again, I just don't even understand. I don't even understand because if he did whatever Blake says that he did, it still doesn't make him like the bad guy because he was just doing his job. But anyways, yeah. That is just like terrible. Terrible. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. I was going to say, I guess I'll talk about then another simple favorite thing character, but yeah, fashion wise, since you're a lot here, I wanna make a poll. Can I make a poll here? I wanna make a poll. I am very curious about this. Sorry, I can't think and talk and write at the same time. Just give me a moment. So I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I am, yeah, hit the like and subscribe. If, I mean, again, keep in mind, this is not my best moment. It's Monday, hashtag Monday, Monday feels, Monday vibes, Monday, just, I'm not on my best game. So, but check out Friday. Friday was cool. So if you're interested and you're thinking about subscribing, check that out and maybe that'll make it a little bit better. But yeah. Um if Blake's upper body was like her or like her lower, I guess it would be different. I don't know what that means. But yeah, Monday sucked, so I live for these live streams. Aw, how was everyone's Monday? I like to ask the chat, how was your weekend? I had like a crazy weekend, and how was your Monday? Mondays can be rough. I love Mondays usually, but because my weekend was, it left me really in pain from working out and stuff. I am struggling today. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, and booties are good. Big booties. All for the big booty. But I'm talking about like this is like too long. Um I kind of like this monochrome look, not gonna lie. Um but the like the casual t-shirt, I don't know, it just like looks like she's it looks like, what was it that I was just talking about? Oh, it looks like Katy Perry's, because I was talking about Katy Perry, and it looks like her, what I've seen of her concert. It's like these pieces together that don't go together, and on top of it, the unflattering. And again, I'm not talking about body shaming right now. I'm talking about unflattering. There is like, and the reason I made this poll, and you're like 69% no, 31% say yes. Oh, Beyonce wore this. Which one? Um, but yeah, so in since it ends with us, she has, I don't know if she's dressing herself, I don't know if she changed stylists, I don't know if this is a trend, because I'm not really on the biggest trend. Why go to a Katy Perry concert when Oblivion Remastered is out? I don't know what Oblivion is. I don't know, but I'll highlight that for anyone who else who knows. I love the yellow, but the skirt is ew. Please don't. I like the skirt, but okay. Oh my gosh, sorry. I like interacting with the chat, so I'm like all over the place. But this is like making me a little bit more energized. But it's just a little too much. Um, so again, people can dress however they like, blah, 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 blah. The thing I think that really stood out to me, and for some reason I can't, oh, there you go. This is this is like objectively bad sewing. I remember I took like a very quick, not sewing class, but one of those like classes in high school, home economics. I don't know if that's what we called it. Anyways, and a lot of the things that I would sew would probably look this way. You can even see the seams here not be good, and just like the way that this is like falling. So, one thing is she is more pear shaped. So I don't know that this particular like hang I don't know that this is exactly how she wants it to be, but whatever. But I'm talking about like the quality of her clothing. It is very odd to me, especially now. She's trying to be out in the media. I don't know why exactly. I think at first I thought it was because she's um taking the advice of the PR people that people talked about. So sewer seamstress. Oh my god, sorry. This was horribly bad draping. Yeah, draping is the word. Um, yeah, and I forgot my thoughts now. So, oh, you have a link. Where I missed the link. Which link? I didn't get a link for Beyonce's Millennial Mom. Can you send the link again? I don't see a link. I'll Google it. Yeah. I still don't know which one. The yellow outfit? Oh, wait. Was it like a long time ago? Oh my gosh, so much. I don't know which one to. I am so bad at Googling. So I'll Google like literally. Where was I? I'll Google like Beyonce. I literally was about to Google Beyonce yellow outfit. That's, Google is not going to know what I'm talking about. Okay. Well, I guess that's like kind of where I was going. Um, oh, all right. I thought about the other one. I still don't like it. I don't like the mix of this material, like the casual t shirt and that. I don't know why. I don't like it. What website am I on? I guess this is a better video, but yeah, I feel like it's too long. But either way, this is mainly like the issue that I had. And of course, in some pictures it'll be better. This is a terrible article, but yeah. Anyways, I just when I saw this, I'm like, this is like you got this off the rack, and you are Blake Lively. And the thing when we're talking about influential, I will say that the one thing that Blake is known for is fashion. From Gossip Girl days, she was about fashion. I remember thinking like so many designers wanted to work with her, or she got them to work with, I don't care, whatever. She would be dressed in like the biggest designers or up and coming designers or quirky designers, whatever. It was always about that, because Serena van der Woodsen also was kind of like that, or that. Well, actually, the character wasn't quite like that, but like the idea of the character and idea of the show. So it kind of just like continued that way. And that is okay to be. She talks about fashion. She talks about how, like, that's how she wants to be, an actress, and her roles depend, like the whole Lily situation. Hi, April. Nice to see you again. Um, Gossip Girl dressed her. She didn't dress. Well, yeah, of course. And she doesn't dress herself either. And I don't think she's dressing herself here now. I wouldn't, I don't, maybe, well, maybe she is to save like the money for the legal issues that she got herself in, and that she doesn't need to be in. I don't know. But, um, yeah. But that is like one way that Blake Lively I think of influential. It's 2010 called and they won their gowns back. Yeah. 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 I think this would have been such an awesome gown minus this. Like up to here is really cool. I think if this was maybe even the opposite, where it was like, of course, I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe like this would fit like what's the triangle shaped people, where you're like bigger, like you have wider shoulders than hips or something. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? Who am I to talk about any of this? I don't know. Um Blake Lively has bragged about styling herself and doing her own hair, so there's that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if her hair's been looking better, so I don't know. I don't know. It looks worse and worse. All that I wanted to say was that it is really odd, weird timing. Maybe it's all in the, because I'm starting to think, especially with that um whatever, the speech. I almost called it script. It was a script. The speech at times 100, the deception that she went with, that it seems very deliberate. I think that I would imagine that her styling choices to look more disheveled, or to look like we're questioning, like, what was she thinking, where are her stylists or whatever. um it might be along with that, like, oh, so she looks relatable, or she looks like whatever. Yeah, bacon bots. um I'll highlight that. They had a plan until it got rushed at the last minute and lost the plan. Wait, who? Wait, what? Who got the plan? What was the plan? What are we talking about? Um, just getting ready for a part in 10 years from now. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so then like this I saw because again, I think it was Andy. Let me um hold on. 'Cause I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be like crazy over here while I search for this. But what's his name? Paul Fike. He got questioned about Blake Lively being like her character basically, and he said no, she's nothing like it, it's so funny because she's nothing like it, and blah 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 blah. And then I even remembered her, I think in the first movie, saying that either she was very much like her character, probably she didn't say that, but she probably said something like she loved, it was her favorite. Yeah, I remember talking about this a while ago. It was her favorite character to play. I was like, well, that's telling. And how her mom didn't like her saying that, or like she didn't like that she felt that way or something. Um, should have never referenced Giselle. Yeah. Oh gosh. Wait, I was going to look for something. I don't. I will. Sorry, I feel bad, but I don't know who Giselle Pellicot is. I should have looked that up. I just kind of got swiped into everything. I thought it was a simple plan. Yeah. Um, that kind of makes sense. It was a simple, but then they had to do another one. It was too simple. It was that was like the good of it. But yeah, so she was saying that she loved playing this character, and then yeah, it was Andy. Okay, I'll pull this up, and I'll, for everyone, because a lot of you are new here, any links, any things that I show, I'll link them in my description afterwards so you can see the full thing, or just like see it again, give them a like, etc. If they are YouTube, if they're just an article, you have the reference. But yeah, okay, so this is like the Paul fight.
Blake just embodies Emily in a way that's hilarious because Blake in real life is nothing like Emily. Blake is very sweet, this like wonderful mother, and just this tiger comes out when she gets into Emily, and you just like, I'm always just at the monitor going like, wow, okay, well, I don't want to tangle with her.
First of all, I love the interviewer. That sounded very much like, sure, all right, yeah, almost believe you. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, I'll look that up in a second. But yeah, so that's him saying he's nervous, and you talks about that. But the thing with this, my first thought is, okay, the one thing, and again, Blake Lively, I don't know her technique. I don't know what she studied. I don't know if she studied. I don't know what she does with the acting. But speaking from someone who's even right now doing Meisner, and I don't know. I think a lot of times when you're acting, you're allowing yourself, and she actually says this, he found this other clip, you're allowing yourself to be parts of you that you would not dare be in real life at times. If you're actors would say, if you're lucky to get those roles where it challenges you to be empathetic to really bad people. It challenges you to understand why they do what they do, and et cetera, et cetera. And so when I heard that, I'm like, that doesn't mean that she's nothing. It doesn't mean that she's nothing like Emily. It means like she probably found that in herself. You have to find that in yourself. So either way, it's yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good. And then Andy found this other clip. I like I don't think he did that on purpose. Up her nose.
Actually asked Blake this the first time around on A Simple Favor, and here was her response.
Is a bit darker in nature. How was it getting in touch with your darker side?
It was just more like all the facades that I put up, I just had like let go, so you guys got to see the real me. I'm just a dark, horrible person, and I just got to let my flag fly. So there you go. This is the real me.
And you were an absolute girl boss in this movie as well. Do you think we need more of that in Hollywood?
If I knew what
girl boss.
A girl boss. He said a girl boss. I'm like, if I knew what that meant, I could tell you. A girl boss. Yeah, we need more female. I think we have a lot of female bosses, and women's voices are being heard now in a big way.
Yeah.
More than a few years ago, which is great.
That last, which is great, sounds, again, it just makes me think so much of marketing, of people, of fake people. Anyways, but yeah. Remember, yeah, the knock on JB's nose, that was rude, rude, rude. Yeah. Um Not by you, you heard women's voices. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Um Including her own moms. Again, if that story is real, which is so weird to say that, but with her, it's like you don't know like what was, because I think a lot of times people, they start with the core that's like real, and then they flourish or leave things out, and that she was leaving a lot out. Anyways, but yeah, she's well, yeah, if because her type is, if one needs to put on facades. I think, yeah, narcissism. I think I was just talking about borderline personality disorder. I think that's kind of more that in a way, and I was talking about how, because it's not so much like facades, but yeah, maybe, or I don't know. I don't remember learning that about narcissism, but anyways, yeah. So again, I think she was joking, or she would say that she's joking here, and her dry sense of humor. But I would say that if someone is acting and she likes to act how she is, or like, she's not, I take that back, because I saw the rhythm section or whatever, and what else was there? I don't know, some other movies. I will get to the Oliver Stone of it all too. And I think that she's delved into roles that weren't like her. But I do think that it comes from inside you, and she has so much fun with this character. And I also was thinking today, I wonder, because I was getting ready for this and I was looking at my links for the Oliver Stone topic. And this was when she did Savages, and it was a while ago. And I was looking at someone who doesn't seem quite like she is now. And I was thinking if she would have met and married someone else. And yeah, if she would have met and married someone else, if she would be someone different. Because sometimes I think we are, we get to a crossroads, and who we all have around us absolutely influences us. And I wonder if she got influenced this way into a territory that she's not even very familiar with, and it just brought out that side of her, this like really nasty side of her out, and she thinks she's doing good, because that's like at the bottom of it. Like, she thinks she's doing good. She talks so much about empowering women and this and that, and she thinks she's an activist, but when you're actually listening to her, she's not really saying anything that's very positive, or that's not kind of regurgitated. So I wonder, if she's kind of just not around the best people for her. So I was just I did listen to you. A few of you said I have to look the Giselle Pellico story out. So I'm gonna read a lot of it with you guys, because I don't know, but the headlines that I saw, oh gosh, does not look great. I'm so curious to know more about the whole mother situation that you described, because yeah. Um okay. I'm not going to read all of it, but basically I'm gonna read it to myself. Just give me a moment. Um oh, I think I do remember this. Okay. Oh yeah. When will Blake go away? When will Blake go away? Yeah, I did not put two and two together. I don't know. I didn't remember the name maybe, but man. And also, if it's true that it didn't even include anything like this in her mom's story, in her mom's like experience, any uh oh gosh, with my accent this sounds kind of just the same, but I'm gonna try to enunciate it. Grape. And things like that, because also Elsie said that she found out that it was truly a woman. And not that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying like there's a lot of holes in Blake's story about her mom's story. And if there was no schmexual stuff. I don't know why I'm trying so hard to like go around these words. Usually I kind of gave up on that. But if truly there was nothing like that, that doesn't make it better. I mean, to try to end someone's life or delete them, as Elsie says, like that's not making it better. It makes it less relevant to what she's trying to make people believe she's talking about. It makes it deceptive. Um, and also, it just makes this quote worse because this is about grape, and really horrible. Yeah, you're right. Like horrible instance of things. And I also think about reading Justin's chapter in like some of his book and some of his podcasts and things anyways, and thinking about his experiences. And he kind of had you could argue kind of a grape situation with his college girlfriend, where it seemed like he was, I need another word. What rhymes with it? He was graped. And but that whole thing of like, well, but he's a guy and that doesn't happen to guys. And also like for guys and girls, like, oh, but you wanted it. You got up to that point and all these like things that he talked about. Many women already think about that all the time. And then after he stopped kind of pushing it down and dismissing it, and he faced it, he started questioning the same way that a woman questions these situations, like, was it my fault, did I ask for it, and all the other things. And so um that's like what I think also when I read something like this, where Blake's trying. I hate when people are try to make something that's not. It might be this like disproportionate to some degree about one gender or another, but I hate genderized conversations so much, because especially when it comes, I feel like, to men. At least the little that I know, and the more and more that we're learning, and if we want to learn and listen to our fellow male human beings on this planet that are in so much pain because they don't even have even a bit of the support that many women have, and not every woman has, and some men have. And like it's just like, it just makes it worse even in that way, especially considering, and I think more and more about his own trauma, Justin's trauma, and then how like she is like probably make it sort of come back alive in a way, not in the same way, but you know, people at the beginning were talking a lot about narcissistic abuse when it came to this whole trial, how she's trying to paint it that way regarding Justin, and then how truly a lot of people online say truly it's the opposite way and all this stuff. And I mean, they were making compelling points. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about when I'm thinking of like the trauma that he's kind of maybe having resurfaced because um of that. Wait, why is this highlighted? When your credibility is in question, maybe not a great time to bring your mom's story into the mix. Yeah, I wonder why. Did you do something? Did the mods do something? That's pretty cool. I don't know who highlighted your comment, but I love that. That's like cool. Um, yeah, I'm a survivor of that, and her making it sound like that happened to her mom, and if she is lying about it, is so infuriating. Yeah. And I think I was talking before you guys showed up, but I was talking about how this is not just, maybe you guys showed up, but I'll say it again because I feel like it's worth mentioning again. Um, it's not just hurting victims of any kind of trauma, especially the trauma that she's kind of calling upon. And it's not just hurting them in terms of like future or current, like not being believed, but also just them in this moment. And I don't know if you feel this way, Sarah. It sounds like you do. You feel like a lot of people feel like, and I know Lauren covers a lot of voices on her recent like videos where she lets us speak from our experience and why we support Justin. And I know some of you like already spoke about this, but it's hurting the victims that either have dealt with a lot of the trauma and as much as they could with it, or they haven't, especially the ones who haven't dealt and processed and healed from the trauma. And she's hurting them so much because in my opinion, because she's using these call tos for like, hey, be on my side, we're on the same side, we experience the same thing, etc., when she's not experience the same thing. And it's making victims relive their experience and also feeling tied to an outcome that I don't think is very healthy as far as like this whole trial. Um, as if like, it's a proxy to them getting justice for their own trauma. There's just so many layers to why she's hurting people directly. The people that she's calling upon to be on her side because she's fighting for them, and she's not fighting for them. And I don't know if she's careless or she knows and she's purposely using that regardless of knowing that it will hurt them more, and it will like trigger their trauma more. Oh gosh. Oh, I don't, Stephanie, don't do Donna anymore. Yeah, I remember she was speaking about the people that she knew regarding Blake's mom, and I definitely had that in my mind when I was talking about it on Friday. But yeah, me and Donna are we're not good. Not that we were ever good. I was just a watcher of hers, and then I mentioned something because I felt very strongly about. And she uh did what she complains that other people do to her, and it was very interesting and ironic. And I keep meaning to get to this and make this video. I think I'm just kind of um I don't know, but I'll put that on my Patreon members only. I hate saying that, but just because it is more sensitive of a topic and also more private, I guess, than just this. So yeah, don't do Donna Bowling. But yeah, I know for anyone else who wants to check her out, yeah, check her out because she definitely has had stories about Blake Lively's mom. but again, that doesn't make her less of a victim. People who are bad people can be victims and all that stuff. It's just like the way that the holes that Blake had and the way the timing of it and stuff, it's really, really bad. Um what? No. No way. Hold on. What? Was that on YouTube or Google? Um oh my gosh, I suck at Googling. Oh my goodness. No way. Although, like sometimes I'm like, take that with a grain of salt. I was confused about so much clapping. Why was everyone clapping for? Yeah, or what was everyone clapping for? Um, comment on the YouTube video. Okay. I don't might be a next stream kind of thing to talk about. Maybe it's this one. Let's see. And also, yeah, Stephanie, she does have a strong personality. I feel very strongly, and I talked about this part, I think. Um, be kind, and I feel like morality above personal interest. And that's what I guess you can say that I have a strong personality in that sense, if that's what that means, because I feel very strongly where I don't feel like being biased is a good excuse to be ignorant. Anyways, all right. So, let's see if this is it. This is just a speech. Hold on. It should be. I mean, I feel like if anything, it should be on TikTok.
So at the Time 100 Gala, Blake Lively finally addressed the drama with referencing her mother, Elaine, who happens to...
No. I think this was just like to Blake. Yeah. All right. Because I know that I think Jercy's talked about this lip reading, but no one, like, I didn't see someone actually saying that. It was just like an article, I guess. But this thing too, I should be there. I need to shine right now. I mean, that's kind of. And I was thinking about this. Sometimes we need people to tell us when we're good people, but maybe we should take a step back. I feel like stuff with the deeds. All right. I don't want to make you see my terrible, 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 terrible research skills. I think the deets, but anyways, let's see what comes up with that. Okay, that's not it, but let's see. Oh my gosh, this is so confusing. Is this new again? Wait, why am I not?
A lot of people are now saying that they think Travis unfollowing Ryan Reynolds is a sign that Taylor and Travis are over. In my personal opinion, I just think they have been laying real low.
Why would that be a sign? I think that did cross my mind, but that makes zero sense. And also, how old are these people? I do forget that they're actually younger than me. All of them except for Ryan Reynolds. He's older than all of us. But I do forget about that. That is that to me is just
Blake
so
Lively's
stupid.
mom has been caught saying, "Should I cry?" during her daughter's Time 100 speech. Allegedly. Well, I guess the apple definitely does not fall far from the tree in their case. Is this just one big joke to them, like one big acting gig? And shout out to this page, I'll tag them because they literally made a video like tagging my name like on top so I could see it. I'm pretty sure I was in the search bar.
It's not for us to have shame. It's for them.
Honestly, guys, I'm the worst lip
No.
reader ever. I really can't tell if she exactly was saying that. I think it's more so like her. It's for that. I'm pretty sure I was in the search bar. It's not.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, sorry.
Blake Lively's mom has
Sorry.
been signal.
Oh,
Let's do a zoom in. It's for them. If I'm being honest, guys, no, I don't
That's
see
hard.
her saying, should I cry? I'm definitely not getting that, but I'm more so getting it from her little signal thing. She's literally like drawing out tears and looking at Ryan, and she's so busy. Like, let's do a zoom in. It's for
Yeah, but that was like a
video,
very
like
late
tagging my name
zoom.
to the search bar.
Sorry, I'm like really
It's not
invested
for
in this.
us to have shame. It's for them.
No, that's not. I don't think that's what
It's
she's
not
saying.
for us to have shame. It's
Because she starts off with like that or something. I mean, I'm not a lip reader either.
for them. I was in the search bar. It's not for us to have shame. It's
it, to me, it looks more like that's right, or is that right? Yeah, that's right. Something like should is like, more like should. Like, I don't know. Like, no matter how you say it, I feel like whichever English accent, it's never going to be should. Unless she's trying not to get lip read. I don't know. I don't think she's saying that, but that would be just like, just really weird. Also, I saw a Palaver girl, while grade 1 hand typing. Thank you. I forget, was it Rosewater? Someone called me out on Lauren's live one time because I was like typing so fast, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I was going to reply, but you already were on it." Because yeah, if I get into it, I am a very fast typer. And I remember my whole adult life because when I was a kid, I'm 39, so I didn't grow up with this. But yeah, as soon as that happened, technology happened. I used to have like an old school phone that you had to like type each letter like 3 times, tap onto the one thing to get it, and I don't know, whatever. I was really fast. I don't know, I wanted to talk so fast. Even when I talk fast, or even when I talk, I'm fast because I subconsciously feel like I don't, this is going to sound really weird and stupid, but I don't, kind of, not that I don't deserve the space, but I need to like be fast and get out of your way. And you're not going to like listen, if I'm like dragging on. And some people, my ex, oh my gosh, he would drag on. He would be so slow and so calm and so quiet. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't do that. I'm the opposite. And I don't like that about me. So, but yeah, I do type really fast. She was talking about a trauma. I'm confused which part they were clapping about. Oh, I did read that. Yeah. Oh, I forget. We went through that. I don't remember, but yeah. They clapped more like for her. I don't know. It was like weird. I missed some things. Wait, where was I? I feel like I could cry. Yeah, she could have said that. Yeah, like maybe she said cry. To me, this doesn't to me that doesn't look like crying. Again, I mean, I'm not everyone, and I'm not a body language expert. Most people aren't that tell you that they are. Also, I feel like I want to share that in case, like there's so many just people who are here for the clicks and clicks only, and they're not actual body language experts. The only one that I found is Spidey. I forget his channel's name. Anyways, and people, anytime that you have people, here's like a good critical thinking kind of moment. I'm sure all of you know because you're on this already, on this whole Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni thing, but I feel like anytime that people give you like, I have the answers, all the answers you're looking for, they don't. And Spidey, I love that he points out like, well, this, like I forget, but like shielding your eyes doesn't mean that this or that, whatever. It just means, okay, sorry. I'll give you a better example. In Lie to Me, that's where I learned my body language expertise. The show Lie to Me, great show. They talk about this. Like, just because you can tell someone's being deceptive, you cannot tell what the lie is and what the purpose of the lie is. Like, just because it was like a murder case, one episode, and just because someone was deceptive, and they showed how like they actually ended up being deceptive because of other reasons, not because they actually ended that person's life or blah 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 blah. So or that they had anything to do with it, and it happens so much on crime shows, like, oh, you thought you got the person, so these like tells, these body language tells. But yeah, to me that doesn't sound like crying, but I don't know, I'm so curious now. What, I want to see the original video. Well, this is I don't know. Oh my gosh,
Blake
it reminds me of
Lively's
like,
mom has been caught saying, "Should I cry?" during her daughter's Time 100 speech, allegedly.
TikTok.
Well, I guess the Apple definitely
Anyways,
doesn't.
whatever. I won't put you through it. I'll put this link in the description below too at the end. There was only lip reading rip reading between Blake and Ryan, credibly anyways. But yeah, it would make me sick too if this is the case. So but I would not be surprised at this point. I hate to say it. Mid to upper 30s is a grown adult. Well, yes, I would say yes, but apparently they are still unfollowing and following and all this stuff. Believe that Justin still follows Blake Lively. I don't know if that's like because he just could care less about Instagram right now, or because I don't know, maybe he's just like whatever. Um, I don't know. I just feel just weird. I don't know, with things like this. Very old school, I guess. I don't mind petty, but there should be balance too. To be honest, I put nothing past the Lively clan. Nope, I don't have it in me to make space for her mom, etc. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I feel. Like it's sad that yeah. Days like this, I do wonder what the other side thinks, feels, etc. I don't know. It's weird to say. Let me get to the Oliver Stone of it. So I did this. It was part of a deep dive back when this whole thing was coming out, and with like, I think it was after his amended complaint, Justin's amended complaint, and I don't know. I was like staying up till like 3 or 4 a.m. just on rabbit holes. Hello, ADHD. And definitely super high fixation or whatever. And then I burned out, and then I could kind of care less, and then I'm kind of making a comeback. But Oliver Stone, because I covered this so many lives ago. Don't remember which one, but maybe for the replay, I'll put the link wherever. But Salma Hayek made a speech introducing Blake Lively where she said that she watched, well, she said many things that were like, what? But one of the things was she watched Blake take on the biggest bully in the industry, and how like basically that made her fearless and whatever. And I was like, who is that? Because it can't be Harvey Weinstein, and it was around that time, I believe. It couldn't be him because it is kind of publicly known that she didn't really say much around that besides like, oh, that's a horrible thing, that wasn't my experience with him, but that should not happen, etc., etc. So I was like, was it Oliver Stone? Because she made this horrible joke. I didn't pull that one up, but she made this not joke, but her like, I take it back what I was saying earlier, that she was kind of just swayed into this. I think just I don't know. I'm trying to find something redeemable in her. Um, Blake Lively. She was on a talk show and she talked about how like, um, oh, Hugh Jackman's okay. Sorry, getting distracted. Um, she made like "We Survived Oliver Stone" or something T-shirts after Savage. Um, I don't really understand this. Like, I don't understand the cross red carpeting. I think Stanley Tucci is in it. Is it? Or Emily Blunt? I don't know. What are they doing there? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, that's not what I was looking for. Oh boy. I might not find it. I'll just give me a couple of seconds, and if I don't see it, I will move on. And yeah, well, I'll give one more try. This is where I wish that we would all be better at SEO. So when we search for something on YouTube, it's like easier to find. Because I'm pretty sure they didn't think of putting t-shirt as their hashtag. Anyway, so yeah, so she made that. So I was like, okay, who is this Oliver Stone guy? What is he talking about? What is he, whatever. At that time, everything kind of felt relevant, and I don't know. Apparently Stanley Tucci married Emily Blunt's sister. Yep. Oh no, I love Emily and John. Oh no, don't tell me that. That's so sad. That is the saddest news. Because I look up to Emily Blunt. I think she's like amazing. And in my mind, I guess they call it parasocial relationship over here, friendship, whatever. In my mind, she's like super intelligent and super amazing and super on it and super grounded and just super a lot of the things that just, why would she be friends with Blake right now, especially? Oh man, oh, that's sad. Yeah. So I think this is why I started down this route. So there's that T-shirt, and also because, no, I don't. One of the videos is about something like this, because she was saying like, oh, you have to be, like basically tyrants don't make great movies, and I'm like, and we talked about this, you OGs here, like, there's probably like the best movies of all time were created by tyrants, by people who were my way or the highway kind of directors. And one of the bigger names was the Clockwork Orange guy or whatever. Was that the word? Kubrick? Stanley Kubrick, right? That's the name? I don't know. I'm a filmmaker who doesn't know that much about movies. So yeah, I was like, some of the most celebrated movies are like that. So what is she talking about? So I think that was part of one of the clips. Let me pull up my notes. I should drink water. I don't know how Lauren does this. I was just seeing this on the chat. It's so intimidating. All right. Okay. I will have to like kind of agree to disagree with you, because I think he's pretty sexy. So I don't know. Now, I don't know what people saw in Ryan Reynolds. I never thought he was sexy. I like vividly remember the one college movie he was in. He was doing, what was that? Sorry. Hello, ADHD. This is like streaming with ADHD. This is what this is like, what's up? Why YouTube? No, not YouTube. I just wanted to do this. Okay. So, what is it? Maybe it was just Friends, but I don't know. Van Wilder? I don't know which one was it when he was like just like on. I remember just being like him was like a college campus guy, whatever fraternity or whatever. I don't even remember. And I remember was it Van Wilder? I remember like just being so like, who is this guy? And like he was not good looking. His personality, but I was like, well, maybe he's acting, but his personality and the character is like such a huge turn off. Like it's not funny. Like nothing about it got to me in any good way. And I was hoping he would just like go away. Somehow it became the opposite. So, yeah, here we go. But yeah. Uh oh. Another John Krasinski hater. Just kidding, P, but not. um, I don't know that everyone knows that we hate Brad Pitt. um, yeah. What's a SMA? Maybe I should look that up separately. Maybe it's not something you can put in the chat. Yeah. But Emily Blunt was the first female actress on a long list that quietly shut down Blake Lively when she tried same movie heist she did on JB. Wait, what? Blake Lively, Emily Blunt was the first female actress on a long list that quietly shut down Blake when she tried same move. Oh. So why are they friends? This is the other part where I was thinking, like, you know, all these friends are just like for interest. They're probably not speaking out or thinking it's even that bad. I watch a lot of these, like, I see these like PayPal commercials with whatever his name is, the curly hair guy. Man, I don't know. But he did a Wayfair production movie, but it seems like he is more like he was laughing at SNL. So, and other things kind of suggest that he's more on Ryan Reynolds' side. And I was thinking, like, well, you know, it's more maybe kind of like how people say, like, what is that phrase from the religion I'm not? Thou without sin shall cast the first stone or something like that. Like, in Hollywood, the people who have not done some crappy tactics and PR things and hijacking movies and or wanted to, etc., like cast the first stone. And that's probably also why people are like, oh, you know, staying away. But that's interesting because that means that Emily and Angelina did do something and they're friends. That's like, but okay, they're not friends, you say. But we just saw them hugging at the premiere where, like, what was she doing there? But anyways, I digress. Also, Brad Pitt, never saw him as good looking. I think I mentioned this. I don't understand the Brad Pitt situation. I will say that he's better looking than this Ryan Reynolds guy. So I'll say that, but not my, I never got it. All right. So, savages. Boy, a blasphemy. I'm sorry. I know. I know, but yeah, no. Okay, so this there was at one point during this interview, he talks about, I think maybe at the beginning, he talks about how no one wants to sit 2 hours okay, no one wants to sit and watch a movie for 2 hours to get a lecture. And I thought that was like really interesting at the time. I don't really remember why. Maybe I'll find out.
Politics. What would you want people to take away from what morals, politics, messages, morals, politics? What would you want?
Sorry.
So, what would you say?
I'm definitely not.
You always have movies that have messages, morals, politics. What would you want people to take away from Savages?
I have never answered that question. I hate that question, and I never think of it that way. Frankly, it's not It's not a factory where you get a paycheck. You go to a movie because you want to have fun. You want to be told a good story. And sometimes, something happens between you and the film and it raises your consciousness. You're more aware of something. That's the way I look at it. I've always been a dramatist. I think I made the Kennedy assassination interesting. I made the Nixon administration exciting. The George Bush one.
I didn't know about any of these. Um, not blasphemy. I think she was talking about how I said Brad Pitt is not good looking. That's what I think she was saying blasphemy to. Maybe I got that wrong. Um, but yeah, so sorry. I thought this was probably at that time, or at least now I'll share. I think this is a good moment because a lot of the Wayfair movies, I made a video about how I felt like Okie Dokie, which we don't really like because I understand, but I did feel like she brought up really good or pretty compelling points as far as Wayfair, the movies that they make or they kind of tend to make, and the marketing. And the marketing, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it again below or so, but my video on her video. Um, but their marketing, sorry, for 5 Feet Apart was very similar as far as like kind of a little bit of the tone deafness as It Ends With Us. So I was like, maybe that one's not as clear, Blake, as we think. So it kind of pained me to talk about it, but I also challenged myself to talk about it because I thought I don't want to be over here blind to anything that's not, telling me what I want to hear. And so I didn't talk about that. But anyway, so it reminds me of that in terms of how Wayfair Justin want to make chocolate covered broccoli, basically. And it's something that I can relate to so strongly because when I was thinking of making movies, that's basically what I thought about it. And I was inspired by, I think, Tomorrowland with George Clooney. I think that's the name of the movie. It was like the underground Disney. I don't know, George Clooney. Also another one that I don't see why he was good looking, but now I do. He looks good. He looks good. But when I was younger, he was not my type. I think it's Tomorrow. Yeah, I think Tomorrowland. Yeah. And I thought, wow, because I walked out of this movie, I don't even remember now, but I remember that I thought like I was changed by watching this movie, like my morality, my inner whatever. And Inception was another one, and I thought a lot about that, but for some reason this one walked away from thinking I want to make movies that have mass appeal but speak to something that's deeper and to have a message that people can have conversations about and think and meditate or not meditate. I don't think that I even knew the word at the time necessarily, but really like reflect on. And I always like say this, like you don't have to agree with me. The one thing that I would love to do more for the world is to make you think for yourself. And I love when that is done to me, when, people are presenting things or, making movies or doing YouTube videos or whatever. That's why I love Dave Neal when he presents both sides or, a lot of sides or whatever. And that's why I was like really like standing up for him when Donna was like, again, not seeing past her own bias that she needs to get therapy on. And instead of taking it out on people that are doing actually good things in the world. But yeah, so that's like, I don't know, that I agree with Justin's take on that, on making movies and Wayfair. And I like also this idea of more and more of like, you can't really get political. You can't really get people, like he ends up saying, people don't want to go sit for a lecture when they go to the movies. It's interesting because now I feel like I don't even know what people like to go to the movies for. What do you guys like to go to the movies for? Do you go to the movies? Have you guys gone to a movie? What drop in the chat, like really seriously, drop in the chat the last movie you saw in the theaters. This is not a quiz. No answer is incorrect. All answers are correct. Um, but yeah, like I see both, and that's why I felt like that, this idea of chocolate covered broccoli, or what Tomorrowland was for me, which was this mass movie of entertainment. It was fun, it was like interesting and action and all the stuff, but it had like such a deep human message. I like that. But I am definitely more on the like, oh, have a meaning for it. um and oh no, I'm so sorry. Um, do you remember, Penny? Do you remember how around that time, like, did you feel, because it seems like there were two camps. One camp was thankful and they felt like that movie meant a lot to them, and the other camp was like, ooh, this marketing is like really insulting the community. Do you remember the marketing? Maybe I'll pull that up, but yeah. I really enjoy highbrow films. I love challenging plots and themes, and when movies aren't surface, yeah. You and I, well, I don't know. We might not like the same movies and shows, but that's how I see myself. I'm one of the ones that likes to think when watching a movie, and I think when I think back at on the TED Talk with that Finding Nemo creator, and I don't know if that aged badly. I'm not. I'm just coming from under a rock, um, for the past like 5 years or so. I remember how basically that's just great movie or storytelling, period. No one wants to be given a laugh track to be told when to laugh, or like laughing cues. No one wants to be told a joke. No one, everyone, we're created as humans like puzzle solving, or whatever, problem solving. And yeah, but sometimes we go through moments in life when I, for example, just want to watch 90 Day Fiance and don't want to think too much. Although I do think a lot about that because of my coaching, attachment style coaching background and psychology, like full on passion and stuff. So, yeah, but anyways, kind of a good example. Oh, I'm so sorry, Penny. That's so sad. I like that. To me, any info on CF is good because not many know what it is. Yeah, I've heard about it. I didn't watch the movie, and I talk about in my previous video why I do feel like even chocolate covered broccoli movies are still broccoli. And I shouldn't say broccoli. I love broccoli. Um, but kind of like he said, like I don't know, something about, and especially teen movies like that. I feel like I got scarred with A Walk to Remember, and I don't want to watch movies like that again. But I think I would even add to, even though I didn't watch a movie, I know a little bit more than that movie not existing. I know of its existence at least in CF, and so yeah, like I could just educate myself otherwise if I don't want to watch the movie. Um, yeah, I kind of agree. I think the marketing though that they did, that they were talking about, was like, for a lot of people, I think it missed the boat, and I can see how it was insensitive because it was having people, influencer. The thing that got to me was that it was influencers that really had nothing to do with one thing or another with the movie or CF or its community, and they were asked to talk about it, and hashtag ad or whatever, about how it, like, watching the movie felt like missing a grandparent that was far away and you can't really see. And I think they were going for empathy because I think that is really important. Empathy is oftentimes the way to get it is when you can't relate to a certain circumstance because you don't have family members or friends that have gone through something like this, for example, but you've gone through your own thing, and pain and trauma and things are quite relative to a certain degree. And so like they were trying to kind of create empathy in people. And the other kind of iffy part was I don't remember. I don't know, there's another iffy part. But yeah, I do think that sometimes we do get a bit too in the weeds of how things should be talked about, where at the end of the day, like you were saying, at least it's being talked about. At least more people know about something than before. So, yeah. Um, ooh, something feels really weird to switch topics any kind of way, but that's interesting. Digital projector and 70-inch stand screen, forget it, we're home. Well, I will say it's still not the same, but I don't know. I'm not there. I think my family has one of those TVs, and funny enough, they watch on the smaller TV because I don't know why. Those are huge TVs, and I don't get it. I think though it's still different. I will say when it comes out, if it comes out, I'll make my plug again. Watch this one. Sorry. The Wayfarer movie that came out in limited theaters. I went to the theater, and I will say that it is a different experience. Unless you're like really projecting it all. And also the thing I will say that I would love like an outside home theater or projection experience, but sitting with strangers in a room and hearing them laugh or cry or talk about, oh my gosh, that got me so emotional or whatever, that kind of beats staying at home, even if you do have like the big projection. And that's what I felt like with this movie. And this is not an ad. I wish I do in my Meisner dreams. I do like daydreams. I have daydreams when I need to be happy. I think about like working with Wayfair, not gonna lie. But no, they did not reach out to me. They did not Wayfair, but Nice Indian Boy, the movie on TikTok, did like my TikTok video, but that's it. But yeah, I loved it. And yes, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't know what that means, but it's good. Um, and there was I made another video. Sorry, I'll finish the Oliver Stone in a second. But they were talking about how both critics and like regular people who have watched this movie love this movie. And yet it is nowhere. It says like now in theaters, but it's I don't know, maybe it's near you, nowhere here. Um and then it's also not on streaming, and last I looked on IMDb Pro, they don't have a streaming date either. And yeah, King George and Hamilton. I am very ashamed to say I did not see Hamilton. I was just talking about that yesterday on my vlog, I think. Yeah. But another fun fact, and I already did this in another live, but since you all are here, this guy, I don't know, I don't really know either of them, honestly. What's his name? Oh gosh, Karan Soni. He was in Deadpool. I feel I like there's a lot of crossover between like Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Justin Baldoni. There's Scarlett Johansson directorial debut that's kind of on hold, is it, or something? That is with Wayfarer. There is Blake Lively with It Ends With Us. There is this guy, Karan Sony. I don't I don't feel bad that I don't know him, but I don't watch Deadpool. I watched the first one, and I'm not the I'm not the audience for it. Um and Yes, I did see that. Sorry. And yeah, there's a lot of like connections. So it's weird, and it's really weird. But they didn't know each other, but it's really weird. It's like really weird. Sorry. It just got to me. And yes, I did see Dave Neal showing that yeah, it is it is crazy. I don't understand personally why, but it is crazy. And I wonder, was I almost said Aloha, what Anora on there? I forget. Oh, I don't remember, because he talked about how like the amount of money that they used to make it was so much lower than the box office on top of it. And Anora was kind of one of those things. I don't know if that was like as popular though, but also very small, independent. I think even smaller of a budget than It Ends With Us, like 6 million, I want to say, budget for Anora, and it won Academy Awards and all that stuff. I still don't get it. I still don't like it. Whatever. People hated me for it on TikTok. People agreed with me. I mean, not a surprise. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. But yeah, number 6. It Ends With Us. Interesting. Interesting. I've never watched any of the Deadpool movies. It's him. His side profile gave him away. It was such a menace in Hamilton. Are you talking about this guy in Hamilton, or this guy? Guessing this guy or this guy. I don't know. um, Jonathan Groff, the white guy. Yeah, this guy. Okay. He's looked familiar, but I don't know. But I'll have to watch Hamilton. That actually I did put on my thing. Um, Also, since there's a lot of you here, I also would love a like and subscribe and comments and whatever's, but I really need TV show suggestions for when I go to sleep and when I wake up, which I haven't. I've been sleeping really well, but when I need to watch TV shows, I've kind of ran out of things. So let me know if you have any that are not horror. I cannot do horror or anything like that, but I'll take anything. Um, okay. Oh, Glee, the white guy, Jonathan Groff or whatever, right? I think that's okay. All right. This Sorry, and I mean not sorry. I don't know which ones you prefer, the rabbit holes or this random topic that is kind of old news now, very old news. You want mindless or something cerebral? Either. Um, Either. You know what I would love, but I will take anything. Anything that is not scary movie. That is not horror, that is not like that. But like my top favorites are things that are very kind of calming and not like fast, 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 or um yeah, like Surface was amazing. I don't know if you've seen Surface, Palaver Girl, or anyone on here. Surface was like perfect, even though it was kind of scary. It had too much darkness, like the dark style. Not a huge fan, but I liked it because it was just very slow paced and very like calming and soothing and interesting. And it was definitely cerebral. It was definitely interesting. Um, but yeah, gosh, I don't remember what I loved the most. Um, yeah, but anyways, I have heard of Riverdale. I have watched it. Yes. All right. So I will get back to this, to the chat, to you guys, but let me at least do this other one. So, because this one like talks about like more to the point of the Blake Lively of it all and the a-hole of it all and all that stuff. So Oliver Stone, known as a tough director, strong, opinionated, etc. Just bear with me because these notes are, I think, 2 months old. It was like what, mid-January, February that I was doing this. So bear with
For
me.
being sort of a tough director, strong, opinionated. But other people also, you've been described as sort of leading the troops into battle, as it were. Is that how you see yourself, sort of, like...
I think people in the movie business exaggerate everything. Everything gets built into a thing. It's part of the nature of the business. Listen, I lead from because I help provide a vision, and I try to get everyone to agree. So I am a collaborator in the truest sense of the word. We work towards a common goal, but sometimes you do have difficulties. I'm trying to set a pace and a tone. Also, it's complicated. This is a very tough movie to pull off because, frankly, it's as tough in its own way as science fiction or new machinery because this is a world we don't normally see. So finding out the truth and adhering to it to a certain degree with, let's call it heightened realism, is very difficult. I was worried that it would be silly, and I don't find the result silly anymore, thank God.
All right. I forgot where to stop that. But it was really that part. I help provide a vision. I try to get everyone to agree, so I'm a collaborator in the truest sense of the word. We work towards a common goal, but sometimes we have different blah blah blahs. I can understand him, but so I mean, this spoke to me because the word collaborator, Blake Lively mentioned it. It was a lot of like a thing, and I, as a amateur director, I've been in situations where people did not appreciate that I was the director and leading the project, and also producer at times. And sometimes I had people that appreciated or got that, and there was an understanding. And also for me, when I was part of being the crew for someone that was the director, I understood where I was limited in contributing and collaborating. And when they allowed, ask for ideas or whatever, like I gave them, but otherwise it was their movie, and vice versa. So I think like it's such a nuanced but such a beautiful thing, filmmaking crews and production crews, when it's like and it's so like such a nuanced dynamic. And I think he talks about it pretty well here, that I wonder why people say that he's an a-hole, that he's a tough director, strong, opinionated, etc. Because like I've had that kind of be said about me, and I was like, just doing my job. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm the visionary of this project. Like, if you want to be the director, you be the director, like someone. And I have given caution to people who were interested or like curious about being directors, and in a 48-hour film project that I did with someone, I remember that they wanted it to be a democracy, that if everyone wants to write, everyone can write, and if everyone gets to do what they want to do. And I'm like, you can't work that way. Like, you won't finish on time, especially when you have a timeline like 48 hours. You need to create the idea, write it, film it, edit it, and present it in 48 hours. And it is tough, and especially if you don't have clear lines of communication, clear lines of and roles defined, and where you don't have a leader at the helm that guides and steers. And you can have people's opinions, but ultimately one person needs to make that decision, because otherwise it can be done that way, very, very rarely. And not so much when you are like in time crunch. So I don't know. I agree with this, and I feel like it speaks to Blake Lively wanting to collaborate, and like, oh, I was a collaborator and Justin invited me in. If she wants to present that picture, that is not true. Like if someone gives you a finger, don't take the whole arm or body of of the person, you know? Like don't just like push them over and like bye. They were gracious enough to invite you to collaborate, and also know the limits of your own role. And it's also creative. One of the most creative things, or the easiest way to be creative, ironically, is to have fewer choices and fewer options. So you know, there's a lot that stands out with Blake just not getting it. But yeah, so yeah, I love how oh, sorry, I'm cutting his head off. I love how he said that. Yeah, he provides a vision. He is, and also it's really hard. It's really hard to be a director. I don't have children. I have two parakeets. Sometimes they're like children, except one right now loves being in its cage because it doesn't fly yet that well. So I don't have to wrangle them. But when they both will be like crazy, I will face that. And with kids and everything, also with kids, it's even, well, no, even with birds and animals, like tone matters. You have to, if you get frustrated, you can't really show it. Like there's it's being a director, it is underestimated, and I think sometimes is misunderstood, and it kind of has this connotation as a result that they're either kind of like pushovers, and I don't know what good that does, or they're very good at like making you think they got your idea and make you involved, or they are just doing their job, and you will feel like not bamboozled, but bulldozed over, or whatever, or like you don't matter, your ideas don't matter because they might be more direct, or like, yeah, I remember times when I would take ideas and I would even implement them, and some I would, some I wouldn't, but I would just be very short, like, tell me your idea, cool, bye. Not always, but sometimes. And not even from actors. And I remember people kind of feeling like I didn't actually take them in, and I'm like, no, I took it, I got it, but we're on a time crunch. So yeah, I don't know. I have like a soft spot for directing, and you know leading in that sense, because I've been on all sides of it, like literally, not Hollywood wise, but sometimes you could say even worse. Low budget, no budget, zero budget, $100 budget movies. So yeah. Um
More boxes.
this one, oh, this one, I don't know what she was saying in that one.
Because I got to exist in every.
Hold on. Okay, so this one is, ooh, the next one though, with Salma Hayek. I also, I because of, I don't know, Salma Hayek. That one's really, really interesting. But Blake Lively on Benicio del Toro. Toro. Anyways, I lost my R's, my rolling R's. Going to advice for your character really takes away all the work for me. Oh yeah, okay.
Everyone's world, and in each different character's world, from the boys Ben and Sean in Laguna to is in California, to being shipped off to Tijuana and in a film, and just the ultimate pain and torture, challenge, but definitely a thrill. Benicio.
Throwback to these weird, awkward ways that people thought we wanted to see interviews.
So just makes it impossible not to believe what's happening. I mean, he's such a brilliant actor that the moment he steps into character, you forget that this was the man that you were just joking with, that was your ally, your buddy, that you're going to going to for advice on your character. And then once he's Lotto, I mean, he's Lotto, and it's terrifying. So it really takes away all the work from me. But you know, I had to react and be scared, and it was a very scary environment that we were in. But you know, Benicio is just one of the most remarkable actors that I've ever witnessed.
I think that was like at least that one part. I think so. Gosh, my notes, or they didn't help me now in the future. But yeah, it really takes away all the work from me. I pointed that out. I think I was in more like my petty stage at this time, when I was like just wanting to see like cracks in her shell. Like, oh, see, there's a crack. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, ultimately though, that's kind of what you want in. Okay, you don't want. There is no such thing as taking away all the work from someone. And I don't know, knowing what we know now, maybe she really meant it literally. Sometimes though, you could say this as far as like, um, if you're acting with someone that is not present and fully there and has done their work, it is really difficult to do your job. It's like playing to a wall. And a lot of it, because acting, like, at least Meisner acting, which is what I study, and I would say that any acting is about reacting to your partner, and your partner having the answers to your questions and the questions to your answers. And therefore, everything you need is to have, memorize your lines, know, like in your gut, what this scene or this story, this movie, whatever is about. And then, because lines can change, director can give other directions, etc. But play alongside your character, opposing your partner, acting partner, opposing them. And so, like, I would say what she could have or should have meant was that um it it doesn't, because you have to show up with your work done. But if that other person isn't in it, no amount of work, like, I mean, just imagine like you're there and you're like really passionate and stuff, and the person's like, yeah, I agree, or whatever, and like you diffuse. Like, there's no way to not diffuse, or it makes you more angry, depending. But um you're therefore not able to act. So yeah, but I did think, like, with what we know now, like, huh, what interesting choice of words. I did see something interesting here. Harvard, Yale, what is going on? Uh, um, well, Oliver Stone has such an interesting, varied background. I can only attribute his prickliness to his military career and or growing up affluently. I think he talks about this somewhere, maybe, about the military background. Um, them are fighting words. Harvard be prickly. Um, yeah, sorry. That like kind of piqued my little ear too, because of the whole Harvard situation right now in the news. And I don't know what's the new with that, but they sued Trump or something. Which there was one of those like political cartoons there, that online at one point, where it was like Yale and all these other ones kind of kneeling down, and then Harvard's like, nope. And I was like, man, like these political cartoonists, these are like interesting people. I, I've talked about, and I don't think I'll get to the journal news tonight, but I've talked about some news things when I was like really like, my fed upness was more fed up than my fear of bad things happening, because I spoke up about some opinion that I have, that I feel very strongly about. And ironically, my opinion is almost always, not almost always, always on the side of peace, love, compassion, everything that I want and everything that I stand by or behind is for those things, is for people to be safe, to be happy, to be loved, and vice versa, like to love and have and give safety to others and give happiness to others. And that's why I disagree, very strongly with uh Donna and people like that, where I don't see that any person, any ethnic group, any being even, is more worthy than another. I think we are all equally human. We equally deserve, and we have the right, in theory, but society messes it up, of safety and love. And we're all born the same. Even people who, like the 2% of this world that lacks empathy, you can even find in that population people that really do care for others. And um and yeah, we won't get into that kind of deeper conversation, but um I just feel very strongly about that. So any basically that's like where I stand politically or morally or whereverly, or even with like the Justin of it all and Blake of it all and everything. Like I it's not only about the truth, but it's also about, like, truth matters to me, especially because of those things, because I want people to be safer. I want this to be a better world, and I want people to be better people. So that's like a huge value pillar for me. um Digress. But yeah, Harvard. Um, very random. There's a sensitivity about an artist having their work even touched by someone else. To put your work out there is one thing. Imagine someone bastardizing your ultimate vulnerability. Yeah. Yeah. That goes in so many directions. I don't think we think about that very much. And I also think about that when it comes to Blake, herself, and people are people, and it can be I I think she has maybe a shield, or it seems like she has a shield protecting her of this. Um like an echo chamber around her and so forth. But yeah, it stings when you're whatever kind of vulnerable. But yeah, when you have it's tough. I don't know exactly where you are coming from, like from which angle you're coming from specifically writing that. I imagine when I read that, I imagined it in the sense of like the director. um Although I feel like what you're saying applies even more so to the writers, the screenwriters and everything. Okay, you didn't mean that. Because ultimately the screenwriters are the ones that put their vulnerability on paper. And a lot of times directors come in and do their thing and they rewrite and they, change things. And yeah, so that's like super tough. Can't imagine that. That's like with music too. I'm also like, I've had aspirations to music. Um, I also like never thought of being a songwriter to other people. Um, Also because I'm not that strong of a songwriter, although like I guess I have some sort of like raw maybe talent. I don't know, this one songwriter workshop instructor person, I think it was from Berkeley Music or whatever, kind of pointed out in the class like, oh, like you should never stop like writing, like you have such an interesting um way to say things and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah. And then I stopped. Anyways, long story, very short actually. So yeah, it is definitely vulnerable. Um but you can also say that for the actors, and I think that's maybe where Blake is kind of struggling, because like as an actor, you're putting yourself in these people's hands, and sorry, and you are really the ultimate vulnerable person there, because you need to show up with raw emotion, whatever it is that the script needs. And that can feel very tough to have someone tell you you didn't do it like I wanted you to do it, basically. Or you can hear it that way. And you can maybe have a hard time kind of separating yourself from your character if she does, which it seems like she does, and then she kind of takes it that way. Um, yeah, so much. Yeah, I spoke about this like a long time ago too. The trust, like a lot of the things that she mentioned in her list would have been no problem on like Bridgerton, because that was a whole thing too. Like one of the intimacy coordinators on It Ends With Us, or because there's two listed on IMDb, and one of them is or worked at Bridgerton, and I'm like, I think it was a she probably did not see anything like this there, because there's a lot of trust cultivated there. There's professional actors that really understand. You also have to understand your own self. You have to understand what triggers you. You have to understand why. You have to understand your boundaries and why you have those boundaries. And you have to communicate and all. There's so much, because if you don't know yourself, you can get, and maybe this is what happened with her. If you don't know yourself, you can feel like your boundaries have been violated when they haven't, because you don't understand why that feels that way, because you don't understand maybe the trauma that you have, and or you dismissed it or you pushed it down, like, oh, it's not a big deal, but it really was, and it's suddenly affecting how you react to someone doing their job on set, and things like that. So yeah, so much trust has to be present. um and I also talked about Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling, and who's also not a great looking guy, but he's like so charismatic that he is great looking in the end. Um, but yeah, so yeah, like they, like, I don't know. I always think back about this one Broadway actress that she wasn't like a famous one, but more blasphemy. Don't leave me. All attractions are welcome here. All what would that even be called? Celebrity crushes are welcomed here. There's no discrimination. I will I'll have my, opinions, you will have yours. Um but yeah. No, but I do like him. I do think he's attractive, but like objectively his face is not like it has flaws. But he is like, yeah, anyways, all right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm probably digging myself in worse. But yeah, they probably had a lot of trust. I don't know why I was thinking of, the one movie that they did recently. I don't know. But yeah, this one Broadway actress said like people, or like, you can differentiate real actors and seasoned actors from green actors, rookie actors, etc. Um, through a lot of times through intimacy and how they handle those moments, and how they handle the sometimes improvised moments, and like knowing that something is improvised but in a safe way, and making the difference between someone taking advantage of, oh, this is that kind of scene, so I'm going to make, more advances than scripted or something, because that's how I am. But there is a difference. Like, you have to have that trust, and that's why intimacy coordinators are important, which I still want to know more as to like what happened with the intimacy coordination in this It Ends With Us movie, because she said, I'll meet with her later or closer to when we start. We don't see one way or another that she met or didn't meet. We kind of filled in the blanks that she never met ever with her, because there were notes provided that Justin had to provide her, which I felt like I would feel so uncomfortable if I was him, or either way, like it doesn't matter the gender. I would feel so uncomfortable. Um, it's really weird. Like I am so curious about that whole thing, but that's like, something that helps. Some people have talked about like the one girl, Mikey and Honora, and someone else, I forget who, that decline intimacy coordinators on movies. Um, and that's a choice. I also think with Honora, like, was she ultimately making that choice, or was it kind of made in pressure? Because it sounded like it was a little bit kind of financial pressure, because she even said they didn't have enough money, and she and her scene partner made the choice to not have that. But also, like, if you don't have that and you feel comfortable that you can communicate, which it was interesting because he didn't really speak English, but if you can communicate and you create that and cultivate that trust, that's ultimately what it's all about, you know? Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry. That was I don't think I get my like blonde guys or semi-blonde guys confused. I meant Sebastian Stan, because I'm Romanian, he's Romanian, so I'll say his name Romanianly. But on The Apprentice, and him and I forget her name, but oh my gosh, like that scene, and she talked about how it was like highly choreographed and stuff, but like about the trust that you have to have with your partner, with your scene partner, and so forth. But yeah, wow, that scene, like I remember watching that movie and I was like, because I was watching it right around the Oscars, so this Blake Lively thing was already huge. And I was like, oh my gosh, do they have an coordinator for this scene? Like, it was just so hard to watch. So it was a grape one. So yeah, that was like crazy. Also, great movie. I would say regardless how you feel about Donald Trump, I think it's such a good, well written movie, well directed, well produced, well acted. I mean, it is so incredible. It is such an incredible movie. Um, and it's probably not what you're thinking. Maybe too. I'm sure some of you will be thinking exactly what it's about, but it's like a snapshot in time. It's not what is happening now. It's nothing kind of to do with now, or like it's not a whole biography of his life or anything like that. It's very interesting, and I found very interesting parallels to Blake Lively and what apparently Donald Trump learned from Roy Cohn. Gosh, sorry, don't know that much. um so yeah, it was interesting. I mean, she's playing by the same rule book. Deny, deny, deny. What was the stuff? Um, Never admit fault or defeat or something, even like when it's like clear that it is you, like things like that. Like she is just there are three rules. Why is it so hard for me to remember? Um, oh gosh. I wonder if this is here. I think this is a clip. Oh my goodness. No, not in the Oliver Stone.
How do you win? You want to know how to win? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's rules. Roy Cohn's 3 rules of winning.
The first rule is the simplest. Attack, attack, attack.
I mean, CRD complaint, lawsuit, article.
Rule 2. Admit nothing, deny everything.
She has said pretty much nothing. She's used his words against him and his text, their text messages and stuff, all this stuff. Yeah.
Rule 3. This is the most important rule of all. No matter what happens, no matter what they say about you, no matter how beaten you are, you claim victory and never admit defeat. Never admit defeat.
How do you win? You want to know how to win?
I feel like that's if she loses this is why like it's almost like a lose-lose situation because of how she is so adamant about this, Blake Lively. Like if she loses this lawsuit or whatever happens, she will never admit defeat. She will always say that it was like I can't believe I'm like this is so like ironic that it was like rigged somehow. It's like it's so, oh my gosh. How do you deal with people like this? I don't know. We're kind of in an experiment right now. But yeah, we're in two experiments right now around this. So yeah. If it's really bad if you can compare her to Roy Cohn, yeah, or what he supposedly said and taught Donald Trump. I don't know. I've only seen this movie. I don't know too much. But I've heard he's not a good person. But I will say that in the movie you do empathize with him. I don't know, but it might be also my like filmmaker and lover of psychology and human beings that like is always fascinated about the human being of each of us and can empathize. Empathize doesn't mean that I agree or that I like the person or whatever. But it's yeah, I did feel bad for the movie Roy Cohn at one point, the way that it was shown in the movie. So yeah, but I do hear he was one of the worst people. So yeah, but they're quite, I mean, the similarities to these three rules and what Blake is doing, maybe it's a tiny bit of a stretch, but it's not that far-fetched of a stretch, I would say. Now that I'm thinking about it, so many great performances stretch the performer and take them out of their comfort zone. Oh my gosh, Blake will never be, and it's like that Balake, that Bohemian Diva always like quotes the Key and Peele skit, I guess, or something, Balake. Blake will never be great being put off by everything and playing herself 24/7. Yeah. I think in the rhythm section, sorry, should have put that. I think in the rhythm section, she is not herself. I think to me, what I saw in that movie, I know there's like a lot of controversy around it and her trying and kind of doing the same thing. With that one too, but I think that was like I think she did a decent job. I don't know. I didn't see the whole movie. It was just kind of really boring, but to me, but I thought it was like pretty good acting. At least like the first 20 minutes of it or whatever. It was really boring to me. Really boring. It's really boring. But I'm not generally the audience for that. But yeah, I mean, this is one huge gain of respect that I got for especially for Sebastian Stan, because he, I think pretty much came into the Hollywood scene from the Avengers, and he was just like the Winter Soldier or whatever. Spoiler alert, I guess 50 years later. I don't know. The only movie I saw was like the first Captain America, I think. And then a movie came out with him, and I was like, oh yeah. And they filmed it here, I think, in Cleveland at one point. And he was here, and I was like, ah. Anyways, but yeah. So I gained so much respect in how he talks about playing Donald Trump, and I think like that's the wonderful thing about actors, and we need actors. We need actual actors who do not have to have their own words or the script in their own words and how they want to dress and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the way that he transformed into Donald Trump, his mannerisms, everything, it was just like that. I mean, this is why you get Oscars, which is honestly, it was tough. It was tough. Adrian Brody is definitely full in his performances. He's like really gives everything in his performances, so it's tough. But oh gosh, I feel like Sebastian also deserved it so much because the amount of and I mean, oh my gosh, even Timothée Chalamet or whatever, however you pronounce his name. And there was another guy too. There were so many good actors that put so much hard work, so many years, not years, not whatever. You know what I mean? Um, so much time into a character, into developing, into becoming that character, and understanding that character. Even Isabella Ferrer, I know I'm not saying her name right, I'm all over the place with accents, but the young Lily in It Ends With Us, she had a journal, she kept a journal, she really studied her character of Lily and like really went for it. And like that's not only who deserves to win Oscars. Oftentimes, those are the people who do get the Oscars. Even however you think about the Oscars, the people do usually do their work. They don't. They're not Blake Lively's, who are like, oh, you can't just give me any lines and put me in any clothes and tell me how to deliver my lines or like not tell me how to deliver, but like make me stand any place and like you know do that. It's like, no, that's girl, that's exactly what acting is. And it takes a lot to be an actor. So it's interesting. And she had like, I don't know, I still feel like she could have been a good actor. But anyways, yeah. So I think there are similarities between her and what Roy Cohn or movie Roy Cohn was saying. All right, so this is one of the last couple of things. This is Salma Hayek talking about, was it about Oliver Stone or Benicio? I don't know. Forget.
Let me see your eyes. So that was the first scene that when we started shooting, he would only give me one take. And I would always beg, and then only one take. And I had been working by myself, so that was the first scene that I did with other people. And this one, he was like, again. And then and then he said, okay, moving on, but he didn't seem happy, so I said, let me do it one more time. And he goes, no, I got it. Let me do it one more time. And then I did it because I begged, and he goes, you just wasted my time. So it made you, insecure about it for that specific one.
And all along.
Which I can understand how horrible it must feel. Again, talking to being vulnerable, you're showing up your most vulnerable self as an actor because you're not playing you, but you're you. It's your face, your body, your words, your voice, but you're trying to play this other character and you're trying to please the director and also the audience, and you're trying to do a good job, in theory, unless you're Blake Lively. And it's interesting, like her demeanor about this, sorry, I'll take this off. Her demeanor about this is very much like actory. Like that's the job. That's how it goes. Like it makes you insecure, but like she takes it as like almost like a challenge. I don't know, from at least how she's responding to it. Who knows?
Every time she wants to do it one more time, or he wants to do it one more time, then I'm thinking there is something personal between the two of them.
Because she's slapping him. The scene that's like her slapping him.
Because I'm getting slapped any which way you cut it. If he says, do it again, then I'm going, Oliver doesn't like me. Then she goes, let me do it one more time. Then I'm going, she doesn't like me. Both don't like me.
No, we loved you. And you know what? He was great because I said, this time I don't slap Benicio. And he was like this face, like this. Like this is like in mute. No problem, I'm here for you. Blah. Since when do you...
Yeah, I think that was all that I had on this. But yeah, I don't know. Like, they're really, and they're laughing and they're together and she had to slap him. I mean, it's not, SH, I guess, but like, it's not as, he could have taken that like, this is not cool, I'm not friends with you. I don't like you for that. Let me read my notes here. what was I don't even know what those words mean, so I'm not even going to read them. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, oh yeah. So sorry. There's this other video. Nope, not that one.
You've shared.
No. Oh shoot, I don't have it. But anyways, there's a video between Salma and Blake talking or something. Or maybe it's on Blake. I don't remember. But I'll I'll go into this story. It's not really. I don't know. Hopefully, it'll make sense. So, it's going to be very short though. Um, Oh, yeah. So it is like I wish sorry, I don't have the video, but it's something that Blake says regarding Salma. Reminds me of this mentality that a strong woman tears men apart kind of thing. It's again what and I'll include it in the description below and I'll kind of asterisk it, to remind anyone that this is what I'm talking about. I don't have it though. Or Robbie Williams. Anyways, and there are these two women that I met in my life, which they're so not my usual. Like I've not met other women like this, and so they stood out to me because um, years apart, and they know each other though. They kind of got two very different roles. One is a lawyer, one is like something finance, because that is, having those jobs, they can tell men what to do. That's the only way that men will listen to women, if they have. Because I remember I wanted to go back and do psychology a few years ago. And one of them, the first one I met around that time, said, "Oh, no, no, don't do that. Become a lawyer because that way men like will listen to you." And I was like, I wasn't part of the conversation. I don't what does that have to do with my life? Like I'm not building my life around men, especially whether or not they listen to me. Like that I didn't like that kind of mindset. I just don't understand. And I wish I had that video because it was kind of the same thing with Blake, I guess. When she was probably like looking up to Salma because she's so like kind of commanding of the room and of men and stuff. And but I think it's very different. When I see, and I don't know, but when I see Salma in interviews and things, she reminds me a lot of uh, especially this one professor that I had. She was Puerto Rican. Salma is Mexican, I believe. But she was also like very fiery and short and just very confident. And but it was like they didn't. At least my professor, and maybe I'm projecting onto Salma. My professor didn't need to put men down to be confident, to be strong, to be empowered, and to have power. And also, she didn't need to be any particular role above men or in a place where men had to listen to her. Because to me, I'm like, you haven't fixed your issues. That will never go away. If you don't fix that issue that makes you think that, men don't listen to you unless you're above you're like forcing them to, whatever. Like you will never be happy. You'll never be okay, like in your soul. You'll always be in pain. Um, so yeah. Um, just a very personal kind of story, side note. And then uh Olive then gives some. Oh yeah, until the slap take, and then said, "You wasted my time." Oliver expects you to bring. Oh, okay, yeah. So I guess it goes on, but um,
Would say yes. If he didn't, he will. What I like, Oliver expects you to bring ideas to the table. What I liked about him is that if he liked an idea, he would say yes. If he didn't, he will quickly say no.
Shut up.
Right. But he doesn't keep you in the mystery of like, let me think about it. Now, that can be really confusing because there is, when you do a movie, there's a clock ticking. There's always a clock ticking. So it's good to get the yes or the no's quick. So
what I was saying earlier. Sorry, I moved around. I'm like in her way now. But what I was
That was
saying
my.
earlier is that, like I feel like, yeah, real seasoned actors will understand how valuable it is for a director to be direct, to be that was pun unintended, to be very clear, and also ultimately the leader who decides, what they want for their vision. It's their vision. And to have actors that can appreciate that and know, like, I keep wanting to say to know their place, but that often has such a negative connotation. But it's also kind of like the director also has to know their place in so many ways too, like um their division. But like, I don't know now off the top of my head. This is actually, I will have to think about this, because I know there are definitely ways that as the director, like, it's not my place to like do certain things or whatever. But this is bad. I don't have examples off the top of my head. Interesting. Imagine if roles were reversed, him laughing when describing slapping her. Yeah, I think that happens though. I think that can happen again in when two actors cultivate that trust, and it makes other people at ease too. So if that would happen, but they have that trust with each other, and the roles are reversed, and to us, like, we would be at ease. We wouldn't feel uneasy or like, ooh, that's not a good look, because you would feel it. Because we're not great lie detectors as humans, but we do have some lie detection, and we do have this detection of what's like, um, we take in, I don't know, 10,000 whatever bits of information per second, more subconsciously than consciously, or something like that. Sorry, don't have my numbers correct, but we take I think even more than that, like 100,000. I don't know, we take a lot. That's why we get gut instincts about people. That's why, we get attracted to people, and then we're like, whoa, why was I attracted to this person that's like my mom or my dad or whoever. um and like, I could swear that, like, I was attracted to them because they were different. But our gut knows, and by gut I mean like our brain, really, like our subconscious knows from all the information we take in so much more information. So like, when we would see that, if they would have that, and that's what I see with them too, they have that rapport with each other. And like, I guess it takes some emotional intelligence. I'm thinking again of Blake Lively, to understand that you have to create that, and there is that safety, and there is that moment where, yeah. Now, I mean, we've also seen again, so much. I forget what is the male misogyny. I forget the male version of that. um, but yeah, that is, it's just like so, misandry. There you go. Yeah, thank you, April. I learned that. Thanks, Blake Lively. Learned that. I like a ball buster. No. Um, Lisandro. Um, isn't that a name? Okay. Yeah, pretty name though. Yeah, Miss Andre Penny also. Um, yeah, we've seen so much from Blake, and that, like, you can sniff that out, whether you call it, gut instinct or sniffing out or whatever. You can sniff out if Blake, like, I feel like Emily Blunt has a similar talking about Emily Blunt. She has yes, Maria, you know about the keyboard. Um she has a similar kind of sense of humor. I could almost see, or there's some actors, but you can also sniff out where they're coming from. When Emily Blunt, there used to be that kind of prank war between her with John and Jimmy Kimmel and his wife. And it was like I don't know, like because I feel like she was coming from a different place in her core. It just came across differently. But I don't know, maybe looking back, if we would watch it, maybe it would be different. Maybe it was just like unnoticeable. I don't know, because of what, you know, what else came out about Blake. But um I don't know. You can kind of tell when something's like forced or coming from a bad place, when someone has some unresolved issues. This whole Blake Lively, JB, and before that, sorry, that Deb versus Heard triggers me. I recall my boys, now adults, being harassed by these horribly raised entitled. Oh, um, that's good. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. This is where, if anyone kind of attacks my empathy for things that they don't understand why I would empathize. In moments like this, I am very grateful for my empathy, that I can understand, not only understand that, but like, I thought a lot about that as soon as I learned about Justin Baldoni's like past and how this would affect him, and understanding that um and like all of her ads against men, and making that one guy with the martini like chug the martini on, like, waterboard him basically. And it was just literally painful to me to watch, because again, one, I think that all people are equal. Like, uh you didn't say crazy for this, but I will borrow your crazy, because like, oh, what a crazy notion that all people are equal as far as like importance and merit of human rights and things. And um and then also, I just feel like there's a lot of quiet suffering in men, that I think, one, having the long-term relationship that I had, and even though at times it wasn't stated in a way that I could understand, in that, or I would otherwise, someone else would otherwise be, maybe it might be harder to understand. Now, what am I saying? What did I say that? um Sometimes my ex would deliver things from a triggered place, like, with not hostility, but like pettiness or something, as far as like, um when he would talk about, well, things like this stuff that happens, like, oh, you know women don't care. He didn't say that, but like, let's take that example, like, oh, or like, oh my gosh, any 90 day fiance people here, please tell me at least one. Because I love the show, and everyone, like, it doesn't. But if you've seen 90 Day Fiance, if you haven't, then this won't make much sense. But there's this guy, Sarper. He's from Turkey, and he definitely, I mean, he, at first, at least, he came across as 100% misogynistic. And just whatever, the worst kind of, male example, cliche. Um but gosh, what was I? Oh yeah, and he made this like joke recently, as like a stand-up joke that he was practicing, like, oh, men are terrible liars, women are amazing liars. um I forget what he goes on, but anyways, basically, like, these kind of things, you know kind of conversation. But then I also learned through like understanding more, and kind of taking more time on understanding where he was coming from. And it wasn't like this, but like, I would also get kind of triggered sometimes, like, what do you mean by that? Or like, not all women, or I would get my own triggered. And but I think, because I was already empathetic and prone to empathy, and welcomed empathy and understanding from a different point of view, and then that kind of set me up to like understand further, and then loving this person, and being protective of this person at times. Most of the time, we broke up, so it is a kind of a sore subject right now. But I definitely learned a lot about, and not much, but a lot more than before, about the male experience and how there's a lot of quiet suffering, and there's so much acceptance as far as like support between women regarding, really terrible things. But then when it comes to men, they lack a lot of times support, especially around schmexual stuff, and or like bullying, especially from girls, because that's like, oh, you're weak, you're not a guy because that girl like bullied you or whatever. And it's so messed up. It's so messed up. And if you read Justin Baldoni's book, like, he talks about stuff like that too. And it makes it even more, if you're really sitting and if you're a mom of boys, you would probably read Justin's, I don't know, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I imagine many people who like have those experiences or have seen those experiences, it makes it so much worse when you have Ryan Reynolds take Justin's vulnerability about the male experience and how it's not right to be bullied into being not vulnerable, to generalize it, and to like be a certain type of way, and that like, if you're this way or that way, you're weak or you're this or that, and being like a girl is insulting and all these different things. And Ryan Reynolds used it against him in his motion to dismiss. And I would imagine he would just keep on using it against him, like all the book, not just the TED Talks and stuff, like all the book that he wrote and all that stuff. And it's just like so gross, so gross. I can't breathe. The other thing is, I don't like, my lips are so dry. It's so hard for me to drink, and also I can't breathe because I get excited and my diaphragm is like just hasn't moved in a while. So let me read the chat for a second and try to get it all back. Wow, Penny, with the girls and the police. Oh boy, sorry about that. Um, you wonder who has given marital advice to her friends? Blake Lively? I wonder. Yeah. I do wonder if she kind of messed Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn up. I don't know if, I don't know how that went, but it definitely sounded like they were maybe mismatched or just different. But sometimes, yeah, like you can, yeah. I like the emoji too. But yeah, so sorry, Penny. And that's like so crazy, that stuff that doesn't get talked about. And if it gets talked about, understandably to a degree, people say like it's misogynistic or whatever. It's like, anti-feminism, anti whatever. Because I will say that, and I I would have these kind of arguments with my ex too. And not kind of arguments, because we both kind of thought enough, like deeply enough. But being because we were on this different side too. Um, but I love Dr. Kirk Honda, and he talks about like, yes, there is like, imagine if a guy did that when something like this happens, or imagine if a girl did that when something else happens. And the thing is, like, there is power imbalance to a certain degree, but yeah, it's kind of crazy what is so underlying that is reversed that we don't talk about. And then you have like Blake Lively, who's making it all about gender, and in a way that's like, I don't want to get into the Times 100 thing again. Let me actually, speaking of that, let me go really quickly and see. What was I looking? Oh, Blake Lively, mom, coworker. And then before I get into that, this is another Bill Bellamy talking about like working with Oliver Stone, and I guess I'll play that, but it's more the same thing kind of thing.
Wow. I think Oliver Stone brought the best out of me. He challenged me in mentally. It was interesting how he did it because we were doing a film and my character was Jimmy Sanderson in Any Given Sunday, and I was this guy who was a highly paid wide receiver, cocky, arrogant, had a drug problem, was addicted to painkillers. There was a lot of backstory on my character. And one day we were sitting and he was just like, Bill, what is the most desperate time of your life, like that you had where you felt like you look like your life is good? You've overcome some things, but let's go back to desperation. And if you didn't know you could ever be successful, you were dying to have something. That's the energy I want you to have in every scene.
Anyways, so yeah.
Your last game, your last this, and I was like, damn.
Just wanted, I guess at that time when I found this, it was definitely like a rabbit hole. I found this and I was thinking, you know, I felt passionately at that time to share this because I was thinking about, again, the misunderstanding of a director and how like, oh, he's tough, he's an a-hole, he's this or he's that, and the things that would be said about women. I mean, I think it is really difficult for women, many times, to be in these power positions. But yeah, but seeing it, like, and I need to work on this because I've become quite. I used to never get offended, and I've become someone who does get offended or triggered, however you want to say it now. Triggered is like the it word. Um and yeah, and I don't like that because I appreciate how Salma took the a very difficult uh moment of her being vulnerable and her director kind of disapproving and saying that she's not good enough. And then same with Bill Bellamy, that talks about how like seeing the glass half full part of, and it's also like, again, creating that trust with and understanding that person does want you to do your best because their movie's on the line. If you're not doing your best, they didn't hire you because they want you to fail. you just, I don't know why, like, that just like kind of dawned on me now. So their style might be challenging or it might not fit or whatever, but also like trying to see kind of the good in it. And of course, like trying to call out like real boundary crossing. I was trying to find, because Elsie had said that her coworker, that Blake's mom's coworker was female, but I don't see that anywhere. So I'm gonna sit on that and maybe more will come out. Excuse me. So yeah. Last thing, Oliver Stone, unrelated, but at that time, again, this was around the Oscars, a little after, Emilia Perez. Um, I think this is like Oliver Stone's like conversation about it. This is like quite long and I don't remember the highlights of it, but I'm one of the few Emilia Perez fans. I don't it's someone, I want to say it's Kim. And I no disrespect to her. She's awesome. I just disagree that I don't think that that Wicked was better or that it should have won instead of Emilia Perez or anything like that. I know she kind of made fun of like this one song about sex change operation and all that stuff. I think I actually was moved by this movie. I liked it. He talks about this movie. Uh, Something about disclosure. Oh, Michael Crichton adapted. Oh, interesting. I love Michael Crichton. You know what? I'm scared more and more to say things like that because I'm like, oh my gosh, but do we know something now that we didn't back then that makes this a really bad thing to say? Like about anyone. And I don't care, like male, female. I'm like, oh my gosh, do we, do we still like them? Um, Interesting. What is he talking? I don't know, whatever. But anyways, so as far as Emilia Perez, he liked Emilia Perez. Um, he was saying, oh, that was what's interesting because he said that the film to his mind, has been diminished by the attack on Carla Gascon for her unfortunate comments made on old social media posts outed by a Canadian journalist living up to the nastiness we've been seeing more and more of in the last years. This hurts us all. Can we grow up? Who hasn't said something stupid at moments? And I feel like you can see it on both sides. I don't remember right now, but there were some. I mean, they were pretty nasty. What the comments that she made, the post that she made. I will say that I think. I don't know what Carla did since then. If she put it into context, I think the last I remember is that she was kind of saying the same thing, like, like whatever, it's in the past. And I don't really agree with that. I think there is a bit more, there is a difference. Even if it was like 5 years ago, to some people, 5 years is not that much, but like 10 years, 15 years, and then you put in different cultures. It is not ideal. It is not great. But I think if the person understands what they did wrong, I think that's the ultimate win. And so I think it's a little bit more complex than just kind of calling someone out. Same thing with Rachel Ziegler, was it? With Snow White. She's so young. And if you just like kind of villainize her and she doesn't really understand what is happening, and also it's not that she's doing something very wrong, it's kind of just nuanced. Again, like she's speaking her mind, her opinion. She's speaking for people's lives. It's just different people that is, I guess, just accepted in this country, which is to me absurd. All people's lives are valuable. All people's lives are equal. But I think like the timing, the moment, I don't know. But then you have places like Lebanon. I kind of mentioned this the other day, that banned Snow White because they have Gal Gadot and she's Israeli and she fought. I mean, specifically, she fought, or she was in the Israeli army, and she did stand by Israel. Although I think she kind of just kept it to like years ago when it was really bad. I guess, I mean, it's still really bad. Um, and so yeah, so like you have that too. Um and so that's like, I don't know, to me it's like such a nuanced conversation when you have things like this. But I with Carla it's a little different than I think, as long as she understands, she like recognizes where she went wrong, and um there's change. And I think we also have a responsibility to facilitate that. You may not like hearing that because you might like being hurt and being upset and being like, well, little too late, or you might be unhealed from a lot of hate crime trauma and all that stuff. Understandably, you might be very guarded from apologies and from giving people the like nurturing the ground for them um to understand and to like you know grow out of whatever ignorance they have. But it's important because like we're not born with any knowledge really. We get born and we learn everything and we continuously learn ideally. And so you can't really learn in a vacuum. And consequences are important, but the correct consequences. And yeah, I don't know, did that make sense? Probably not. Anyways, all right, I think that kind of is it for tonight, honestly. I didn't get to the news. Next time I think I will come back on Wednesday and do another video in between Friday, because probably a lot happens on Friday. I don't do Wednesdays anymore right now because I have acting class, but this week I don't, so I might do that. Sorry, I left off at Penny's like awful stories. I'm so sorry. Wow. That's crazy. Wait, so much happened. Fur babies. Wait, where are fur babies? Oh my gosh, I missed so much. It has been hard for them at times. Oh my god. Yeah. I just have a crazy dog with the kids grown, but he's hard to. Oh, okay. That's a dog. That's a fur baby. What kind of dog? Um, uh, I shut down if Blake tried to give me advice. I who knows? Yeah, I don't feel like Blake is someone that I would trust really. She comes off so strong. She like the way that she seems with other people, like she's very touchy with you. And I remember the one, who was it? Chloe Moretz or whatever. What's her name? Grace Moretz, yeah. And Blake Lively. I feel like that's me. I would feel like that's me. I don't know if all of you have seen it. Good
Oh my
night,
gosh, I'm such
everyone
a huge
who's leaving.
fan of Jason Wu. The collection is so beautiful, and it's amazing to see what's happened for him in the past few years. We were just talking about, we met right before I started Gossip Girl, and right before he dressed Michelle Obama. So it was a big time for both.
Who knows what she's actually thinking? Maybe she wasn't thinking anything about Blake herself. Although that
Of us.
look.
We had no idea what lied ahead, but we're both very lucky. The last
But like she's like holding Chloe so much, and she's like talking and talking. This we've seen so much. I would just like I would blow up. Not to her, not necessarily right now. I would have that face, and I would be like, I don't want to work with her ever again. I don't want to be around her. And just leave me alone, girl. And just stop. You're ridiculous. That's just my opinion. There's more good men out there than bad, in my opinion, as long as they had good mamas. Yeah, my boys saw that too much that happened. Oh, I think moms and sisters. I would love my next and just the final guy to have sisters and girl that like friends that are girls, because I think and I want friends that are guys, and then I have brothers but we're not close at all. But I think you learn so much through that, or like just strong experiences, like long-term relationships, because and it takes someone with empathy too, but like we all have empathy, but like developed empathy. um but yeah, like I think you learn so much by having that you know your experience. You would never understand the experiences without knowing other people's experiences. Does that make sense? Probably not. Sorry, it's late. um Oh my gosh, Penny. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Um, what do we think that are and Blake together, or is this all um hmm. That's a good question. I don't know. They look pretty together. They look stressed, but they look like they're in it together. I don't know. Um, yeah, I really enjoy that. It was so original, polarizing in a good way. Uh, wait, what did you enjoy, April? Sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat. I've never guessed. Haven't seen it, but looks interesting. I may watch. I think the campaign against Carla was. Emilia Perez. Yeah. It reminded me. Um, I don't know. Good night. I see. Good night. Sorry, I'm catching up. Good night to everyone who's like good nighting. Um, yeah, I think the campaign against Carla was to damage the film. That's interesting. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think there's politics. Oh shoot, Chad, what are you doing? Um, yeah, I think there's like politics to things, and I think there's definitely part of that. But I mean, she said what she said. It wasn't great. There's like things that are like, oh, that's iffy. And there's like, I'm not going to pull it up now. I don't remember, but it was like really bad. But yeah, what I saw in Emilia Perez was the the one play that was like in a like hyper realism, is it called? It was, oh gosh, what was it? Oh, I don't know. It was put on by a Hispanic theater company here that I worked with. That I actually was first in, like my first play ever was with them, and then, but that was more like just regular real, well, kind of realism. But then the last one in 2020 we put on was like weird. I would say weird, and I remember reading like Water for Chocolate, I think. I don't remember, but that kind of came to mind when I was watching this movie and learning about this kind of style. And so that's what I saw in Emilia Perez. And that's 'cause I remember putting on Instagram, like, if I hadn't worked on this show and been surrounded by people that helped me understand this and appreciate this style, I would probably see it the same way, that it's like undeserving, it's weird, it's whatever. Um, but to me, it was like nostalgic to 2020. It was nostalgic, and it was like, I don't know, it was like good like that to me. Um, and I also think it was an interesting way to approach transgender dilemma, and also it took a odd turn. I don't know, it was interesting. It was not at the bottom of my movies. Nora was at the bottom of my movies for the Oscars. Yes. Yeah. Anora. And Nosferatu, it wasn't even on the bottom. It was not even on the list. It was one of the worst movies. I still don't understand why it had to be created. It had no point to me. It was horrible. I couldn't sit through it. Um, I also couldn't sit through The Substance, but that's because it was too scary, and it was too like, I don't know. Bleh. Yeah, the feeling, the like, that like sound, the music, the one instrument, like it just like was really too much for me. Um, but that's for other reasons. But it was a good movie, The Substance. I don't think we should be judged by stupid things we say decades ago. We can all change for better. Yeah, unless we stay the same. I'm wondering what PR move is going to outdo this one and how long it's going to take. Yeah. why is she doing this? This is why, like, it's like, stop. It's not working. It's not working. Hi, Angel. You're here. Um, it's like I'm in that moment where I like rephrase. I know you love horror movies, Maria. Um, it's have you seen The Substance? I don't know if that's like horror enough for you though, because I feel like that could be like you might judge that. I don't know. But she like Blake keeps like thinking that if she shocks us or something, like the more PR, the more like fakeness, not necessarily lies, but the more fakeness that she gives us, the more we will be convinced. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, but to her, I guess it does. Thank you for and by the way, um, the Times 100 Gala will be televised on May 5th or 7th or 8th, one of those numbers. It was one digit number, I think. Um, let's see. I don't know if they will show her speech. So it was going to be televised, I guess. I cannot spell. All right. May 4th at 10 p.m. EDT, which I am so new to the world because I don't know EDT. I just remember EST. But yes, on ABC. Ooh. I don't feel like watching that, to be honest. Probably watch it. I don't know. I'll record it. But yeah, on Sunday, I really like Sundays to be like disconnected day. I it just worked out that way. It didn't even like because of Zumba and then having to drive so far and then Zumba and then a lot of times like we spend more time and then I would come late and yeah. So I'm probably not going to watch it that moment, but yeah. So anyone who's interested though, I might do a live, might not, depends. I don't know. That's next weekend? Is that this? That's this Sunday. That's this Sunday. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know Friday. Thank you for tonight. This was fun and you're great. Oh, thank you so much. I feel really weird clicking on that, but I felt like I should click on that. Remember, if you liked it, click the like button. I have no idea what's happening. I can't see because I'm on OBS and I can't see if you liked it or not. I don't know how many people. And then subscribe. It got kind of better. And yeah, but I appreciate it. I love the chat. I love interacting and stuff and learning new things. I learned a couple of new things tonight from you guys. And I'm so sorry when I'm not like super on top of the chat and stuff. Oh my gosh. I'll have to go and like really breathe. Oh my gosh. Just sorry, I just logged in. Like there's a lot of you that subscribe. Thank you so much. Sometimes we gotta just read the room and shush until we figure out the vibes. Yeah. I should take that advice sometimes. I'm not very good at taking that advice. Yeah. Or not taking advice, but like I'm not that good at doing that. Oh, maybe. Like I feel like I tend to be more like shushed and then I speak. But yeah. But yeah, I agree. Why am I making this about me? That's good advice. I'll highlight it. Good night, Palaver girl. You probably already went to bed. Can't believe I'm still awake, but hey, good company will do that. Oh, thank you so much. Mwah, back to you. Thank you. This was fun. Oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, everyone. Um, sorry for the TMI. I don't know what TMI, but if it comes to it, like as far as I'm concerned, there's no TMI. Nothing's too TMI. Well, maybe. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Maria. I followed your Zumba vlog. The music was making me dance too. Yeah, I would love to put that. Maybe I'll put those on the like what do you call it? What do you call that? Patreon. Because I love the Zumba vlogs, and yeah, I have another one coming from yesterday. It is I try to pick the parts that I look the most ridiculous in. And I was so sore and I was so lost and I was all over, so I had quite a few about this. I don't see the bull terrier. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I remember seeing a dog like this for the first time when I was little, and I was like, what kind of alien is that? Um, now I feel like almost any dog is cute. There is like one type of dog that I don't like. I don't know. But oh, he looks mischievous. He's on his little chair. Oh, he or she. I don't know. Sorry. Don't mean to make that assumption. Um, I say he for dogs because in Romanian, dogs are masculine nouns and then cats are feminine nouns. So, yeah. Um, you're talking word salad. Yeah. Wait, me? Yeah, right? Um, agree. Good night. Good night, Palaver. I love movies that discuss difficult topics or that bring light to them. Yeah. I love horror movies. I did read that. I can't do scary or really dark films. Coming to the end of the chat here. I fall asleep to a guy telling scary. Yeah. Oh, Maria. Yeah. Oh, Maria. Oh, Maria. The one time that I feel like I did that, I had such bad dreams. I think it was like it wasn't Will Trent. It wasn't even that scary of a show. I started watching Schitt's Creek recently. It's not like the most easy to fall asleep to though. It's okay. But I think I get invested in the story. Um where was that? Oh, sorry. Having kids made me sensitive and I get more so I age. Yeah, I my nervous system is like not in the best place. So but I also like if don't let me get into the psychology of it and how our brain waves like um yeah, when we're like falling asleep, when we're waking up, they're the most susceptible and blah 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 and biology. So, yeah, that's another reason I don't really want to um do like scary stuff or like crime stuff or whatever, especially at night or watching it. But also like things like You, I don't think I'll ever watch that show. I don't know. Maybe when I'm like settled in with like, my partner and it's all like good and maybe there's this Katie Malua song, Scary Movies, and it makes me think like maybe like scary movies don't scare me now that you're around, and other things like that. Um, so yeah, maybe, but yeah, yeah, it can be hard. My husband, my mind. um, oh, the actress to Blake. My favorite breed. If you ever need cheered up, go watch Bull Terrier. I will try that. They're clowns. I will try that. So I'm reading backwards now. Um, I've not. I've only seen the one in my childhood, and maybe one other. I think my stomach growled. I. They're not that popular. They're really rare. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen one. Oh, Target had them. It had one in the commercial. But yeah, wow. Um, Sunday I relaxed, not watching. Yeah, same, same. Um, Didn't even notice the time flew by. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Oh my gosh, this was so cool. I'm so sorry. Oh, my microphone thing was falling. It's like, that is not my stomach growling. Right, my microphone is getting low on battery. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for coming back from Friday too. See you April, and a few others. And yeah, I'll put the music outro one more time. I'll try to, I don't even know my songs right now, the best. So hopefully I'll land on like not the craziest one, but thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. I think I'm like a little delayed here. And yeah, 30% the final toll poll. Fashion trend, undressing unflattering, dressing unflattering. Happy Monday, happy week, whatever number it is. And see you guys. I will try my best to have the videos that I promised out this week, and vlogs are coming, and then I'll see you Wednesday or at least Friday. All right. Have a great night. And peace, love, and compassion, and empathy, and whatever. Just, I don't know. Be better than you were before. I don't know. That sounded like a threat or advice. Just peace, love, and compassion. Just, yeah. Bye. Oh, now I need to like figure out how to go there. Okay, let's see. I think this was one of the songs. So this one's a little too much. Anyways, good night.